Hey.
Hey
Hey,
guys.
Internet.
Woohoo. And what were your thoughts about the Van Zan of just like the connection, like with the subpoena showing that Stephanie Jones was part of the Van Zan? Like, as a lawyer perspective, is that a legal way to get around that? Like, is that a legal loophole, or is it something they could actually get in trouble for?
No, I mean, I hope they get in trouble for it. I've never really wished that another attorney get sanctions or anything like that. But in this case, I really hope somebody sees some repercussions. One, the John and Jane Doe lawsuit rings more hollow now that we have the subpoena where people are specifically named, right?
Yeah.
The second thing to take note of is they say, and I can pull up the exact language, but they say information from a cell phone. No number to the cell phone, no identifying information. So obviously there's some sort of like background communications as to which cell phone is going to be turned over. Um,
Right.
but the fact that they're naming people and then going, we don't know who the defendants are in this case is
Yeah.
absolutely insane. And then to pull that lawsuit later is crazy. I made a video. I reached out. I was at a family law conference and our like ethics board advisory guy, the
Yeah.
senior counsel for them, I just like marched right up. He does a speech and I like marched right up and I was like, I have a hypothetical for you. And he
Okay.
was
I
like,
love
these
that.
are clandestine subpoenas and they're unethical.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome that you were able to ask them, like, right to the point of, like, what do you think of
yeah.
this?
And the other lawyer standing next to me was like horrified at this set of facts. I was like, I'm not making this up. This happened.
Yeah.
He was like, oh my God.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's the face every lawyer makes, right? If you bring up the Van Zandt facts to a litigator, they're going to be like, you have to be getting something wrong.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm really not.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird too how they're trying to connect Stephanie Jones with Taylor's friend Ashley,
Yes.
because like Blake mentioned the interior designer part, so I'm like, okay, did she try to like fake that she was hiring you as like as an designer, and then now you're actually giving her these texts? Like, it's just odd.
Right. Right. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi
Get the
guys, I
band
just
back
came from
together.
the blistering cold. So.
Yeah, I know some people were kind of trickling behind just because with the snowstorm coming, everyone's kind of trying to get
Yeah.
prepared before it hits.
Oh,
It's wild.
Yeah,
stay safe, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kenz,
um,
you're in KC. Can I say that?
yeah, Kansas
Sorry.
City.
Okay. Okay. I was like, wait, am I doxing you? You're like, you're never
Oh no,
invited
no,
to
you're
my
fine.
live again. Thank you.
You're fine.
um,
No, no, you're fine.
is everyone else comfortable saying
Yeah,
where they are?
yeah.
Yes.
I think we're.
Okay.
Um,
Where are you guys
Mandy,
right
where are you
now?
from?
I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Oh yeah, that's real cold.
Nice.
Yeah, it's freezing.
Oh yeah.
I'm in
I
Texas.
feel like you're feeling.
I feel like Texas can get cold. Are you guys getting a cold front there? Or are you doing okay?
Yes, no, we're not okay. We're gonna get a really cold, like cold front. We're gonna be like in the teens, like in a couple of days, and like we're still not prepared, but we're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
They're saying you guys might get so much snow. Like, hang in there.
It's like no.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, but nothing here yet, so we're good. What was the craziest thing that like stood out to you guys about the unsealing document so far?
Um, for me, it was. I knew that Blake didn't like Justin, but I thought that maybe that was from his onset behavior. But to realize that she signed on to this project and just hated him all along,
Yeah.
and then had the audacity to be like, he made me uncomfortable. And I'm like, were you uncomfortable or did you decide to take a job with somebody you don't like?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with her bringing up the whole circumcision conversation that happened before she was signed on. So it's like you could have been like, I don't feel comfortable with him. He's like getting too close too quickly. Let's move on.
Yeah. And the blatant just, hey, let's take over this movie. Hey, Taylor, thanks for lying for me today. Like, just how obvious they were about it all before filming started. I was like, oh, okay. She never had
Yeah.
a case. Cool.
What about
What
you,
about you
Gina?
guys?
I guess, I mean, there's so many shockers. To me, I thought it was worse than I had ever anticipated. Like the complete destruction of Wayfair behind their back, but then Blake being so nice and kind to them in front of their face through text messages. She was nice to them all the way up until she was able to get her 10 days into the edit. I think that's kind of wild. I think for Sony and WME to all acknowledge that Blake did this to herself, but then still cater to her is shocking. I also found, yeah, the Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds stuff shocking, like Ryan Reynolds having meltdowns and saying that Blake was being smeared by Wayfair because they wanted to get back into the edit room. Like they had it in their mind that they were smearing her already before even the
Yeah.
smear happened. That was shocking. I think
Mm-hmm.
just the way they speak about Justin and Wayfair was shocking. The way they speak about him as a man, about his religion. I think just as human beings, that was just so awful because that was before anything on set happened. She was destroying them, and it's really heartbreaking because she's going and telling all of these powerful people like Taylor and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, like, oh, I told him I didn't need anything from him. And when you read the text, it's actually quite the opposite. She was highly insecure and did need a lot of comfort and schmoozing from Justin. So she was really love bombing Justin, and it plays now that she actually love bombed everybody and lied to
Yeah.
everybody. And
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
think reading Ryan Reynolds' text messages to Sony and WME to get them to put out a statement in support sounded a lot like the text messages that Blake was sending to Justin about accepting her revisions because they both quote No Teeth and Game of Thrones. So now I'm thinking was Ryan all along the one texting Justin to accept his writing? Like it's
Oh.
very shocking because Ryan has done this many times, and the people that he's done this to just go away quietly. And I think that's what he expected from Wayfair, and was shocked that they wouldn't just go away and wanted to still be at the premiere and stuff. Everything was really just worse than I anticipated.
Ever could have
Oh yeah.
anticipated.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just the way she talks about his religion to me is like so gross. Like it's just oh, I really
Oh
I
yeah.
do not like that whatsoever. And she should have learned about the Baha'i faith beforehand because in their faith there's no idolizing of anyone and there's no leader. And she expected him to idolize Taylor Swift, and when he didn't, that was like she even says that's worse than anything he's done to me. And it's like what? What?
It's like in the one text where she was like, he said that he appreciated my passion, but that's it. Like, what more
Yeah.
do you want him to say to you? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah. And to be making fun of, to be coordinating with the New York Times and Taylor Swift about creating this whole story about SH. In no text message to anybody did she ever talk about sexual harassment or being assaulted on set. So there's that number
yeah.
one. And then for them to be mocking a sexual assault victim, whether you're a man or a woman, to be making fun of sexual assault in any way to me was very, very disturbing from these women, especially Taylor Swift, who sued someone for $1. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah. And it was like, and hers was a very quick encounter where it's like, okay, if you knew the like severity of that whole situation, then why would you make fun of his? Like, yeah. Gina, what was like the most shocking for you of like everything?
Well, like I am really, like Bochi Gohawks kind of like always talks about like what isn't said. And the thing that was most shocking to me is that hi. The thing that was
Hi
most
guys.
shocking was the lack of the EOC stuff. Like, where is the revised? Like, I did see the revised CRD complaint, But that's nothing. That's not like an updated right to sue letter. So the right to sue letter still doesn't have, it ends with those movie LLC in it or whatever the LLC was there. So what does that mean? Because I called the California Civil Rights Department, and I also called the EOC. I did, and
I love it.
I love
and
that.
I had
Yeah.
had made posts on Reddit, but I had deleted them because at the moment I was being harassed by all this like fake Ryan Reynolds accounts and stuff like that. And I was paranoid. I was like, oh my gosh. But I did make some posts about it. And I'm telling you, I called them and they were like, no, once you get this right to sue letter, that means like this case is closed. Like this is closed. You can make amendments, but that means nothing. Like you have to have it in your right to sue letter. So how did I amend that? They were supposed to do that. Now Britt would know more how that works. Like once like you start a lawsuit and you're already at the Southern District of New York, like how do you handle that? Like they should have brought that in and Garofalo did. She made it an issue. So that's one thing. Like where is like all these amended right to sue letters that we're supposed to see? Because they quoted in the docket, like in a footnote, something about like the EOC letters and stuff like that, amended whatever. I'm still trying to look for it. So that's one thing. And
Yeah.
like Mandy said, like the Ryan Reynolds text messages, obviously the Taylor, with the tiny violin situation. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that. You know, all these names to Baldoni. These women are just like really. It's very disappointing. Very hard to swallow that they actually did this to a victim, and then kind of like took. He opened up to Blake, and she just like further victimized him like entirely. It's just like really shocking.
And in some of her like messages, it almost seems like she's trying to use some of the wording that she remembered. He said of like, it made me feel uncomfortable. Like when she went on that little monologue of, it made me feel like this. It made me feel bad. Like it was
Yeah,
like a Dr. Seuss book.
Blake over and over and over again, like the amount of times she's like, it's so hard as a woman. Oh, it's so hard being a woman, being a woman, being a woman. It's like she's so
Yeah.
trapped in, yes, it is much more challenging in this world, as I'm sure most people can agree, that a woman than a man in certain fields and industries and just walking around in the real world. But every chance she got in every message, she's like, talks about being a woman and how hard it is and being a victim of a woman. That to me was very like every text to every person you're talking about that, like, I don't know.
And her attorney who came
Yeah.
out, hi everybody.
It's like, and that seems to be like her and Taylor's thing of like, they're the victims
Yeah.
no matter what.
No matter
Yeah, and her
what.
attorney
We
who
were just
came,
asking everyone like, what was the craziest thing that stuck out to you guys about the unsealing? No, I can't hear you right now.
can you guys hear me?
Try now.
No.
Okay,
It's
no?
like
Yeah.
so light. It's like you're far away.
How about now?
A little better.
Hold on. How about now?
Oh, that's good.
No.
Okay.
yeah.
I was just going to say, kind of piggybacking on what you're saying, her attorney who came out, Macaulay, and like stood there, the amount of times that she said, women in the workplace, women, women, women in the workplace, I was like, oh my God. And like her voice was shaking and she was so nervous. And you can tell she memorized this like script that was so obnoxious. And she kept talking about how Blake Lively just wants to be this savior of all the women in the workplace. I'm like, dude, no. Like it was so obnoxious.
Did
I
you
think
guys
we need a vote first.
did you guys catch where now I didn't watch the entire interview, but I watched a clip. I actually watched two different clips. The part where she said she's trying to protect her friends, and then she corrects herself and says, and former acquaintances. So I think that there's something significant in that because from what I've seen on the It Ends With Us, when Justin was out there talking about Blake, they said, oh, don't talk bad about her, but also I'm annoyed that you're talking really good about me. You're misrepresenting our relationship. And I was like, ooh, I was like, why does that bother her? Why does that bother her? And when I saw that correction, I'm like, is this, another connection that I've made is like, she says Taylor Swift is a walking master class. So did she learn that from Taylor, where she doesn't want her, like Blake knows that Taylor does not like to people to use or misrepresent the type of relationship that they have with her. So when Sigrid McCauley said friend, she also didn't say and former acquaintances. She said friend, former acquaintances. So did she?
Are we still
did she
debating
try
if
to
they're
correct
friends or
that?
not? Are you guys really debating that? You guys know how I feel about that. They're
Yeah.
friends. They are friends.
I definitely
And
think.
listen, and when I say they are friends, I don't mean in the sense that you and I or normal people would be friends. When I say friends, I'm talking about wealthy people, including celebrities, including people who are elite, just certain type of a certain class of people. When they're friends, when I say friends, I don't mean like, oh, we're buddies, we're gonna go get coffee. I mean, they use each other, they abuse each other. They are friends for money purposes, power purposes, business purposes.
Yeah.
Whenever I say friends, I feel like people don't understand what I mean. That's what I mean. And the past year,
They're like
every
business
headline
friends.
that we have seen, you think their PR people weren't working together? You guys really think? Come on now, you guys.
Right.
They were working
People,
together, and they're
I
Well,
feel
still
they
like
were
working
people
setting up
together.
underestimate.
Leslie with Leslie. Yeah.
And if
I
you
feel like people
remember, the
underestimate
text
that
messages,
rich people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry, the text messages that just came out, there's a line in there that people have it. I in one of my posts, I really made sure that I emphasized it. But they said when they were texting each other that this was a long play game. Okay? So they were
Yeah.
in it before when the New York Times article was going to come out. They are still in it. Like, you think that they're not, like, their people aren't talking to each other to help each other, to like salvage each other, to like, we're talking about millions and billions, you guys. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like we're buddies and we're going to go grab coffee. When I say they're friends, I mean it in that sense, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense.
There's
Rich
that.
people have a different kind of, like, people underestimate. They think like, oh, they're just like us, and it's like the 1%. Their marriages are for different reasons, right? Everything is about maintaining their money and their power, and their friendships and their relationships are always sort of around that idea, right? So when you say like they're friends, I'm like, I hear they're rich people friends, which is not like me and my friends. Like,
Exactly. It's very different. So I'm gonna stick to that. And I know there's some creators who are like, no, I have inside info, blah blah blah, whatever, which is cool. Like, that's cool, but I'm gonna stick to my guns because I also have inside info. I work with a lot of celebrities and all these kind of people, and I've seen this time and time again. And like, until I see something like actual proof, if it's gonna come out or not, I'll be the first to admit like, oh, I was wrong. I guess they're not friends. Taylor Swift hates her, but like, they hate each other. So what? That doesn't mean they're not helping each other or
too
working.
little, too late now anyway.
Yeah, it's like whatever, dude. They're
Yeah.
in cahoots. Like, they're gonna be in cahoots. It's gonna keep going. They're gonna try to save each other as much as they can.
You
For
guys,
the
my
sake of
grandma
money and power.
literally, my my grandma literally called me to ask me about what was going on with Taylor and Blake because she just saw like the new articles coming out being like Taylor has nothing to do with Blake. She doesn't want anything to do with this. I was like, Grandma, let me walk you through this.
Yeah.
Poor
Reality.
thing.
I think
She's
There's
like,
remember
oh,
people
okay.
who
She
are
got it
so
at the
sweet.
end.
They're never gonna want to hear it, and I get that. Like, people have this weird attachment. Like, part of a lot of Swifties, and I mean this in the nicest way. Like, part of their identity is like the goodness that she represented, right? So like, letting go of that, it's like it's a part of them because they're like, how could that be? Like, she's a good person. Like, she would never do this stuff. She stands up for women and she does this and that. But it's like, that's it's just smoke and mirrors, guys. Like, I feel like the sweetest people don't want to believe it, you know. But me,
Right.
I'm like
Yeah.
cynical, so I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's
Of reality, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. They just hear the songs and they're like, she's great.
yeah,
But yeah,
Yeah.
seeing those texts too with her just like making fun of his SH experience, I'm just like,
Oh,
Okay,
that's
well,
bad.
like at that
Can you
point, you
guys
just throw everything out the wind.
can you guys imagine like what other text messages in the past 10, 15 years that they've had like about fans,
Oh my,
about other people they've worked with?
yeah.
Like if all that were to come, oh, yo, they would like burn to the ground. I'm just saying.
I
Oh my.
actually think that the play of like the Brian Friedman affidavit and what happened there was a way to keep Taylor at bay from being subpoenaed, not because she didn't want to be part of this mess, but like look at the text messages we've gotten from Blake and Ryan so far, and we've discovered how nasty and layered their compliment ask compliment is. Like they're just so manipulative, right, in how they communicate. And I'm like, did Taylor do that and in a way give that much so that she didn't have to give up more? And 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 because of that, like we don't get to see the text messages that she sent off to Sony herself, to WME, and the things that she said,
You know the text
and maybe
message.
she's like, hey, I'm okay with throwing her a little bit under the bus, but not completely.
Yeah, I agree with
Right.
you. You know the text messages between them, the ones where like Blake comes in and she's like, "Oh, can I ask you something? Like, is everything okay?" Blah blah blah. You guys know which one I'm talking about, right? So like
Yeah.
I purposely did not make a video about that one because when I read that, the first thing I thought was like they released this one. There was some backdoor deal, you guys. I'm convinced there was some backdoor deal, okay? Like that one was released to make Blake Lively look like this like in even though they're both being evil, it makes Blake look like insecure and manipulative and Taylor look like, "Oh, but I just feel like you're not talking to me like we're friends. Like you're talking to me like like a corporate meeting or something and you're just you keep coming at me with these weird text messages." Like her response to Blake Lively it's the whole thing is such a weird, like, first of all, who talks to each other like that, right? And then to release that specific back and forth, to me it looked like Taylor had the upper hand and Blake was like, "Oh my god, is everything okay? I just want to make sure everything's okay." And then it makes Taylor look like, "Well, then why have you been why it looks like Blake has been manipulative and Taylor's like, "Well, why are you treating me like like sending me these like weird corporate messages?" But it's like, can we
But
see
did
like
anyone
all the
catch
other
that in
context?
Blake's response? Yeah. In Blake's response to that question, she was like saying that she's digitally like paranoid and like admits that because she got those text messages from Stephanie Jones, now she's worried because she realizes that any text message could be public at any point in time. So it's like, okay, so you're admitting that you know what you did was wrong, and at any point in time that could happen to you. And that's why I feel like the smear campaign, it's her admitting like everything else that's happened so far. Every
Yeah,
accusation is really a confession. So,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's a really good point. I thought that that was the root of her distress. Actually, I don't think because we don't see texts like that about how distressed she was about the sh alleged, right, her alleged. We don't see texts like that.
Yeah.
We don't see texts like that about the digital media campaign. We do see that, like, I'm sorry, I just haven't felt myself. The way that text messages can't, can just are not really ever private. And I'm like, I feel like that was the root of her emotional distress and
Yeah.
trust issues. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, is that why she took what is it that Brittany, you may know, or Britt, you may know, the escalated emotional distress, like not the normal one but the other one where you don't get the medical records. Maybe that's why they took that off, because that would say a different story.
I've always thought she got rid of that claim because of the discovery that it opens up around that claim, right? Okay, give me all your medical records, give me text messages, give me, witness tests, give me something to show that you had emotional distress that was severe in itself. So, yeah, I've always felt she made that claim, and then her lawyers were like, well, you do have to turn over your medical records. And she was like, ooh, never mind. I wasn't that distressed.
Brittany,
Which
can I
she
ask you
wasn't. There's
something?
no way she was.
If let's say she was, so like if
Yeah.
she was seeing a psychologist or a psychiatrist, they would have to turn in like notes. Would they have to turn in like their notes or?
So what you would do is you would say either give a HIPAA request form to your counsel and they make the request, or sign a HIPAA release for us
Mm-hmm.
and we'll make the request. You can't get them straight from the therapist because there's like privileges there, right? Client, not client patient, doctor patient privilege and HIPAA considerations and all that. So, but yeah, that all would be discoverable. And then if she refused to, they would move to dismiss or move for summary judgment on those claims because there's no damages. You can't prove damages without the medical records. But yeah, you have to have some sort of doctor. And sometimes what you can do is ask that that person be evaluated by an independent psychologist.
Yeah.
So not only would it be her records, it would be an independent expert sitting down with her over a series of however many meetings and diagnosing her
Yeah. Or
for the
in
That's
public
like
to see.
for
I
Kennedy.
remember
It's
in the
not
Johnny Depp
rare that
case.
that happens. That happens all the time. Like last
Yeah.
year, I had a case against a huge corporation for a toxic workplace environment, including sexual harassment. The sexual harassment was when I was like, I'm out, and got some lawyers. And I had to do the same thing, of course. I had to, my therapist, my doctor, my friends, my family, everyone was, was on board. Of course, like you have to, you can't like fight a claim and then not have anything to back it. This happens in like car accidents. I mean, anything where you're suing an
Yeah.
entity for emotional distress, it has to be proven. Like you can't just bring a claim and then be like, just trust me, as I went on to film another movie 2 weeks after. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
it's
I
crazy.
just hope my therapist is marking every time I quote Kendrick Lamar in our sessions.
Something I found interesting about Blake Lively was a text, I think, from WME where she was pissed. It's like Josh Greenston talking to Jamie Heath or about Jamie Heath. The reason why Blake didn't want Justin to go to the premiere was because she found out he was working on that book, the coffee table book, as well as making a documentary. And then that made her lose it. And that's why she didn't want them at the premiere. So it had nothing to do with feeling uncomfortable, feeling she just wanted the spotlight on her. And that one message literally says that's why she didn't want him at the premiere, was because he was still working on It Ends With Us behind her back.
Yeah.
At the trial, or not the trial, at the hearing yesterday, they made that the denial of him taking photos with her a protected activity. They said that was the protected activity. They said the
Filming
judge
had
asked,
ended.
the judge asked Ezra Hudson, I believe it was, have a notes. Guys, like I have this whole notebook, except like 3 or 4 pages at the front is just notes from the court.
Yeah.
The judge asked,
Sounds
like,
right.
give me your instances of protected activity. That's all I want to know. She said 2. The 17-point list, and by extension, the photos. Like her denying the photos was protected activity because it's like I forgot the legal term that they use, but it's like preclusion of something. I don't know. Britt, you may be able to help me out. It's like her way of protest. Protest is the word they use. Protest.
Got it.
And so that's the second. So those are the 2. Some people have said one of the protected activities was her call with Ange. That's not what her attorney said. They're not claiming that as protected activity. Not when the judge said, be very clear what you think are the 2 instances. They only pointed out the 17-point list and that.
I'm very interested to see if the judge agrees that's protected activity. That is something I could see going to a jury. Like whether a jury agrees that's protected activity or not could be a question of fact. It's just typically protected activity is you go to your HR manager, and I'm sure we have all done this at one point because we're women existing in this world, right? You go to your HR manager and you say, Justin made a comment about my boobs and I felt really uncomfortable. Here's when it happened. Here's who was there. And that 17-point list doesn't give that kind of detail. It just says, like, no more X, Y, and Z. It does not say who did it. It does not say when it occurred. Right? There's just not enough specificity. Now, you could say, she didn't, that's where the investigation comes in and they should have followed up on all of that. You could say that. But then you get into, well, one, she had savvy lawyers drawing up this contract. So you don't get to say she didn't know. And two, they said in lieu of an investigation and of a formal HR complaint. So you either want them to investigate or you don't. But she waived that, right? So I don't know. I always think that's from the beginning. I'm like, this is a really interesting question of fact. Like my nerdy lawyer brain is like, ooh, what's going to happen there?
Yeah, that's the thing that confuses me the most is like if she said multiple times to Sony and to other people that she wasn't going to file a complaint, how she can even file this lawsuit to begin with. But then I feel like that's why she focuses so much on just the smear campaign. But they're trying to say that it happened basically the very, like, 4 days after the premiere. And it's like, realistically, like even Jed Wallace said, that's not humanly possible.
But she was HR, guys. She was HR, according to her PGA.
Yeah.
She was the maid too on set too. Like everything under the sun. She's just like, I did that. Like,
Yeah, I think that PGA letters. It's not
I
good.
mean, that's
It's not good
basis
for
enough,
good.
right?
It's not good
I
for
No.
couldn't believe how many people she got to like make letters for her. There were like at least 15 people that were like, here you go.
Can I quickly talk to you guys about Matt Damon and that? Okay, so when I posted about that, like all the comments were like, "Oh my God, I'm never watching anything Matt Damon makes again," and I was like, I I can see that, like why people would say that, but at the same time, like I felt like they were kind of just like believing her, like as if you're talking to a friend and you kind of believe a friend, and then Matt Damon was like very his texts were distant and like the wife was kind of like more like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that, who is this guy, like you should make a movie about him. And then when they talked about when she kept saying he's in a cult, she didn't use the word, she didn't say Baha'i, she just kept saying
Yeah.
cult, right? So like if she had said an actual name of a religion like Baha'i, I don't think they would have like it was so manipulative. And to me, I'm like, well, if somebody was talking to me and was like, so and so acts like he's in a cult, that's very different than so and so like always talks about his religion, or like those are completely two different things. So I don't know, like I kind of feel bad. Again, we don't know before and after what's been said to Matt Damon and his wife, but I was like,
Right.
I don't want to cancel a guy because of like one message. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think about it? I just want to see what everyone's thoughts were on that.
I think they're pretty much innocent bystanders that got stuck in the black web that is Blake Lively, honestly, because she was lying in those messages. I
Yeah.
mean, she lied to everyone. Even there was one message of her saying, the production company or Sony kicked the director out of the movie and asked me to edit. Now I have to finish it. And it's like, that's not at all what happened either. Like, she lied to all of these people. And I think they just believed her because, the story was so like sensationalized. And I don't think, I mean, I would love Matt and Ben to come out now and make a statement, especially since they're out there promoting their new movie. One little statement, would be great. But I think when you have someone like Blake coming to you and being like, "Oh, poor me, this is all the things that happened," even though they're lies, there's nowhere to like fact check, and you're never gonna think someone's just lying. Like her lies were just so, they ran so far deep and
Extreme.
so spread out to
Yeah.
everyone, especially the rest of the cast. I mean, she told all of them to unfollow on Instagram. They all said in their depositions that Blake was the one to tell them. And then it's
Yeah.
like, then she says, "Oh, I don't know why they unfollowed." It's like, well, do you know that every other person said you told them to? So her lies just run so far deep that I think Matt and Ben, I mean, they just believed her, because why would someone make up a story like this? Like, it's crazy.
Also, even if they didn't believe her, and we all know that allegedly, in my opinion, there was a torrid affair between between Ben and Blake at one point, right? Allegedly, in my opinion, I am not whatever, right? But
Oh, there was. Allegedly.
right.
Yeah.
So he has some background. He's spent some time with Blake. He knows what she's like. And even if they didn't believe her, who is going to respond in writing, I don't believe you? So that she can screenshot that and run to the press and be like, Matt Damon doesn't believe survivors. Hell
That's
no.
a really good
Like,
point. Like
he
that, he
was
would
not,
never do that.
yeah, like he wasn't going to challenge her. And so I didn't really read either way. I mean, I kind of felt like, yeah, so he believed someone when they came to him with this thing. I don't know. He felt like kind of mildly supportive, like come hang out with us. We'll have our own barbecue, not in a racist way, Blake.
Right.
But
That's
yeah.
my thing is like, why do you guys think that Blake keeps getting away with like being racist? Like just blatantly being like the most racist you could possibly be.
Same.
Beyond
He's
like
like,
Jamie
putting on a
runs
white
his
hat.
set like he's at a barbecue, and then showing pictures of Aladdin to refer to Justin Baldoni. Like, so many, there's so much racial undertone I
yeah.
found in a lot of her comments. Like, a lot of her comments, I'm like, what? Even when
Yeah.
they were talking about in pre-production moving the set dates, and she went to her agency, and her agency was like, okay, let me go talk to Jamie, because Jamie's the exec producer. Justin's a director. He doesn't deal with actors' wants or ask or schedules. That's not in his wheelhouse as the director. And she was like, no, don't go to Jamie. I want to go to Justin. They're like, well, we'll just go to Jamie. And she's like, no, hold off. Let me go to Justin first. And it's like, what's your beef with Jamie?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And we all know what her beef with Jamie is.
Yeah.
I
And then
feel
her
like
saying
it's
like he can't look her in the eyes, like that's the one person. Like she didn't have a problem if Justin looked her in the eyes, but Jamie, he can't.
right.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
a lot of white women out there are willing to excuse racism because if you they see themselves in someone like Blake. They see themselves in someone like Taylor, right? Which is crazy, but they see themselves in these women. And so if that thing that Blake did was racist, now I have to investigate my own racism. So instead of looking at it, they're just going to continue to perpetuate it, right? And I don't want to undermine like how hard it is to deconstruct from like patriarchy and racism and ableism. Like I catch myself saying stuff all the time that I'm like, I just called that thing lame. Like that's super ableist. Like why did I use that language, right? It exists in all of us. But then to have that grace for yourself means you have to stop seeing the world in this false dichotomy. You have to see yourself as a complicated human.
Right.
And I don't know, it's hard work to do that investigation and to admit to yourself that you might not be the good guy all the time, I think is a hard thing to do.
Yeah. But
As many white women love to be
very
like, I'm a
psychological.
Disney villain. I'm like, okay, you're not.
This is real life. Like, come on.
You know,
It's
And
real.
then
Yeah.
Blake can't figure that out of like she's stuck in like the Hollywood like movie scene that she cannot disconnect from reality. Britt,
you know when
someone asked, what are your predictions? So like legal wise, do you think they're gonna get to trial or do you think they're gonna settle?
I would love, love, love for the contract claims to stay. I would love for everything to get dismissed other than contract claims, just because the karmic retribution of like, go try the most boring element of this case in front of a jury trial, have fun. Um, but I heard, and I didn't finish Not Actually Golden and Little Girl Attorney's like breakdown of the hearing, but from everything I've heard, Lyman was kind of questioning the actor loan out agreement as the binding contract. So I think we're going to see a lot of stuff go away. I think with the PGA letter, they no longer can make the claim that she didn't have control on the set, right? Oh, she wasn't in control of when and where she had to show up. Yes, she was, according to her. So I think all of her Title VII claims go away. I think she's going to struggle with retaliation. I'm interested to see what happens with that protected activity, but I think a lot of this is getting whittled down, and with how bad this is, how bad her position is, right, and how she was talking about taking over this movie from the outset, and there's no real evidence that she felt uncomfortable. I do think we're going to have, just does this rise to the level of legal sexual harassment? And for better or worse, it's a pretty high bar, especially in creative spaces, right? The Lyle versus Warner Brothers is a case that's been brought up a lot, where in the writers' room they were talking about like wanting to assault the actresses and these really vile. If you read that case, you're like, holy shit. Like I would come home crying every day if that was my workplace. And the judge said, like, this is a creative space. It was men and women participating in the conversation, not sexual harassment. And so for Blake to not really have anything that made her uncomfortable other than someone calling her wardrobe sexy, I just don't know that she has anything. The culture of hugging, though,
Do you
I mean,
think
that's just
Justin
right out.
Lin is starting to like pick up on that because his like demeanor is kind of seeming like he's changing too, or do you think he's still kind of in Blake's pocket?
I think Lyman is very procedural. And I also think Lyman is going to dot his T's, cross his I's, right? Like he's gonna make sure that he writes a really tight order that she's gonna have a hard time appealing. Because judges do not like to get appealed. He probably knows based on how the docket has been, right? This is a very litigious case. It's high likelihood they're gonna appeal. So I think he's gonna write the tightest order that he can in order to kick out some of these claims. And I think he'll do a lot of it procedurally. Talking about the right to sue letter, I think that's a great way to say, you didn't sue It Ends With Us movie. Wayfarer Studios never hired you. Both those entities are out. You don't get to sue either of them. I mean, that's a really great way for him to say, procedurally, this just doesn't meet the elements. And that's tough to appeal.
Can I ask you, Britt? I don't know if you saw the part of NAG's and LGA's video where it said that, or actually, I don't even. I only watched a piece of it. There was parts I couldn't skip while I was at the airport. But the judge asked them how the ALA, the CRA, the contract writer agreement, how is that in like what's the consideration value for that? What's the consideration? And Blake Lively's team replied that it was not pursuing a formal HR complaint. That was her consideration. What do you
Which
think
is
about
extortion. Right? I'm gonna take legal action, even if you're legally entitled to tell someone, do something I want, or else give me money, or else I'll do this thing, even if you're legally entitled to do it, is extortion. So, and I'm being very black and white. There's obviously
Right.
a different, we all know it depends, right? But for the most
And
part,
do you
I
think
think
that they have claims for extortion right now? Like, do you think that they have grounds to claim that it's extortion with everything that she like was pushing?
I do. I think some of their claims can should have been revived, but thus far we haven't seen them try. But yeah, there was no consideration to that contract. And both NAG and I had made videos about that very early on, where I was like, this is not a contract. You need consideration for a contract. And now the internet trolls are like, the new date for the for something is the consideration. And I'm like, that's not that's a different kind of term, guys. Like, nope. But trolls are gonna troll. So
Oh yeah. Have you guys had any of like the wrath of the Swifties yet?
Not yet, but I'm sure the video I'm going to be posting and after this will probably get me there. But it's just,
yeah,
they're all, Taylor Swift can't do any wrong. It's
Yeah.
just insane. Comes out with this horrible album, releases 30 variants, then just 2 days ago releases 2 more songs, original songs. I'm like, bad timing there, Taylor. Can't do any wrong. I mean, she's been openly just horrible for years. Doesn't matter. But they're like, oh, she was defending her friend. It's like, okay, well then where are the text messages defending her friend? Where are they talking about the sexual harassment? And where are they talking about, if my friend was like, I just got home from set today, the director did this. I'm crying. I don't know what to do. Where are those text messages? Where's the defense? Where in August, when Ryan Reynolds was threatening Sony, WME, and Wayfair to make statements in support of Blake, where was Taylor Swift then? Why didn't she post anything? It Ends With Us. She posted about Deadpool and Wolverine. Never posted about It Ends With Us. Where was she last year? Hiding.
Yeah.
Hiding.
Where's the support? You know, she was just supporting her friend. No. No.
Yeah.
Merch, the tone deaf merch that she had. Oh my gosh, bad. And then blaming it on like astroturfing, just like, I mean, it was like Blake 2.0, like the whole ordeal. I was like so shocked.
Swifties for a while were talking about how she got bad reviews on her last album because of Justin Baldoni. And I was like,
Oh my God.
you took a lot of leaps to get there. Are your thighs sore? Like, what's up? Or it was just a bad album.
Also, with Van Zandt too, you know, the judge will probably throw out some of the clauses because of unclean hands. I mean, the way they got the text messages in the first place was so illegal. I mean, that whole lawsuit was fake. It's an abuse of the court system. And I can't wait until the Stephanie Jones stuff gets unsealed and we see the communications between her and Blake Lively for a month. They were colluding together, and it is in the Jones versus Abel, but it's redacted. So when that stuff comes unredacted, we're going to see even more pieces to the puzzle with Van Zandt and how Jones and Lively colluded together to create a fake lawsuit. And I think the judge, it probably isn't too happy about that. You know, oh my God, look at the puppy.
Sorry. My dog wants my attention. Sorry.
So cute.
So cute.
Oh yeah, I like
Now we
Van
get to
Zandt is just, that's, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what Blake and Ryan were thinking bringing this to the public, knowing how much dirt and how like horrible and all the things they did behind the scenes, that they thought that this was going to go their way in any sense of the word.
I feel like there were probably texts between Blake and Taylor saying, like, where Taylor was telling her, like, my Swifties are going to get you, like, they'll cover you, they'll support you. So she probably felt like, okay, no one's going to look into this. And even if someone might start to, the Swifties are going to cut it off and be like, no, don't even think about it. Don't question her. She was SH'd. I don't know. I mean, she didn't want Ryan's text to be shown. So.
Yeah. In a way, that's kind of happening, sadly, because the amount of comments that I'm seeing when I put up my videos about the text messages between Blake and Taylor, the amount of times I've seen people say, there's nothing wrong here. What's the big deal? This is like me talking to my girlfriend. What's the problem here? The amount of times I've seen that, and some of it could be bots, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm just like, they must have had this conversation. They must have had this conversation that people would say that. Like, oh, this is two girlfriends talking. You know, like Blake and Taylor were like, well, even if it gets released, like, you're being my friend and you're supporting me. And that's what the comments say. They're like, this is one friend supporting another friend. I would do the same thing. And they're all saying that. They're completely making it's wild. Like, I get so overwhelmed reading the comments that I don't. I just, sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to read these. But, like, it's the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, oh, my God. So it's either truly some people truly believe that. Some of it is bots, which is influencing more people to, like, read those and then actually think that, too. So there's, like, all this manipulation. And, like, for sure, they thought about that before anything, was released. So it's wild. Like, there's people who will continue to support them. I think they'll at the end of the day, as much as I love to say, and I keep saying this, I keep saying they're both canceled. At the end of the day, they're both going to be okay. You know.
I mean, they're the kind of people who have the power to.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna show a comment. Someone said that Liz Plank had posted something on Instagram being proud of being a snake yesterday.
I mean,
I'm on it. I'm
sure, Liz. I'm sure.
It literally said proud of being
That
a
makes sense because
snake.
Alex Sachs literally had posted on Instagram a book, and it was like something about being like good men. Like, I don't think you know good men if it hit you in the face.
I'm getting a call from a client. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Trying to think. What did you guys think of Isabella Ferreira's claims and everything? Of like, it's just like I feel like Blake told her like, "Hey, you need to think of something. Like, think of times you might have been uncomfortable," and she's just like, "Maybe this. Like, I guess this
The
one."
way
But
they
none of
talk
them.
about Isabella Ferrer and Brandon Sklenar behind their backs tells me exactly how they use them and Blake used them. Even Blake
So
saying,
yeah.
I dressed the actress. She had no clothes. She doesn't have any clothes? Well, what
I
are you
didn't get to
talking
read
about?
that message.
But
I
even
haven't seen those messages.
Isabella's complaints are literally
Mhm.
from the book. So if she did read the book, like she said 3 times, she would know that
Yeah.
Justin giving her the direction and Blake saying, "Oh, I protected her." Like that's why I took over the edit because Justin was trying to. It's a statement that Ryan wrote for Blake Lively, which is really dumb about how the director was trying to put in a scene of sex with a 15-year-old girl, which is like not true. But Blake still put it in the edit, so you couldn't have been protecting the little girl so much. You know, her complaints, I think, all stemmed from those sleepovers with Blake and Blake feeding them to her, feeding it into it.
Absolutely. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I
And
agree.
like that's a hypocrisy because Ryan Reynolds, he did Adventureland with freaking Kristen Stewart when she was like maybe 17ish. I don't know. Like I know that they waited like a whole like year and a half or 2 years to release that movie until she was like 19 or something like that. But he had to do scenes with her, and she does. There is a video with her and like Jesse saying that she was uncomfortable filming like with Ryan's character, not Ryan himself, but like the character, what they were doing and stuff like that. And I mean that I had a video out there somewhere, like I gotta look it up, but definitely it's like hypocrisy. Like there was no intimacy coordinator, and like how come that's okay, but Isabella, like what's going on here? She's
Yeah.
like what's going on?
Well, and
I
even
don't,
when they directly asked her, like, were you uncomfortable? Did you say anything to anyone? She just kept saying no. It's like, so then what's the deal? What
So
were you gonna say, Lynn?
I was gonna say, oh, is that the post you did? What does it say? I can't read
She just put this little video caption up, and then on the caption wrote, "Drop a snake emoji if I live rent free in your head."
who is that?
Liz
it. That's a
playing.
see you
Girl.
next Tuesday. That's who that is. That's a see you next Tuesday.
That was the podcast
I can't stand her. I can't
podcast
stand
host
her.
with Justin and Jamie. I can't stand her either. She is a
I
fake
cannot
feminist.
stand
This girl
her.
brands herself on being a feminist. No, she's like so toxic. She's one of the most toxic people I've seen in a while.
Yeah, can't
Oh
stand
yeah.
her. I don't mean to jump back. I know we're talking about Isabel, but
No, you're
there
fine.
was one thing I saw today about with the text between Blake and Taylor. Blake says, I can't remember the exact quote, but you dug a movie out of the grave for me or something. You guys know what I'm talking about? What movie is she talking about?
I
Do we
don't.
Oh yeah,
I
know?
when
had
they're all
some
still
people
in the
say the
grave.
no rhythm or the rhythm section that they were thinking.
I think it's another
I
simple
saw Steph with the
favor.
deets post.
It was the rhythm section. It had been almost shelved because she injured her hand,
Yeah,
and it was like a long period of time, like 6 months or something.
her
And then
knuckle.
we're having, well, allegedly, they were having like creative differences with Barbara Broccoli and everything. And so
Shocking.
they were like no, practically shelved, and then they were able to somehow resurrect it. And I didn't know that. Is that Taylor was involved in that? Is that what we were saying?
Well, I don't know if that's the movie, but like in their text, she's like alluding to
Right.
Taylor making that happen for her. So like today, I saw Steph with the deets post about it, and then her theory was that it was that movie
I think
where
so.
she hurt her knuckles.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But Mandy, you were just saying you think it's.
Yeah, it could also, I mean, who knows? Blake's
I
only
mean,
done
who
like
knows?
4 or 5 movies. Like, it's not like she has a whole
Yeah.
resume here. for her to say Justin and Jamie aren't experienced when Jamie Heath himself has 10 times more credits than Blake in film is kind of funny. But also for the another simple favor, the studio was pushing Paul Feig to do a second one, and he didn't want to do it. And he went on record so many times saying, I don't want to make this movie again. One's enough. I don't want to do it. And then it got made, and Taylor Swift music is in the film. So
You got a point there. Actually, you
Okay.
have a point because if
That's a
you,
good point.
I watched that movie with my husband, and he was like completely like, "What is wrong? Like, I don't get this movie." And I get it 1000% because all of it is like Easter eggs. All of it. Like you don't get it until like unless you know about the lawsuit, then you're like, oh my gosh, the whole movie. So I feel like it was like she strong arm Paul
And
Feig
and
something.
is Blake Lively's character like a mean bad character? Because somebody commented saying that she's the real life person of that character. I haven't watched that movie, but since you have, like, is that kind of who she played?
I think so. Like there's
Yeah.
characters of there's three of her, and I feel like they're different personalities. One is more, in my opinion, like Charity or whatever. She kind of dresses almost like allegedly like Taylor Swift in like in
Oh, interesting.
folklore or something like that. Like it's like really weird. And then the other character, yeah, definitely is like her. Maybe I don't know, but she was like, yeah, mean.
Like an evil demon.
having three
I can
Blake
see.
Lively characters in one movie is crazy. But I feel like Blake only plays good when she plays the Serena whatever from Gossip Girl. Like when she plays a mean girl, that's the only time the movies do well because that's who she is, as acting. Like she even says that she's never taken any acting classes. She gets her acting work and research done from watching movies. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you haven't like been in stage or in theater or like improv movement classes where you're just like with a bunch of people moving and touching and stuff. Like there, you learn so much from being in class working as an actress, or an actor. But I think it could be that because then she also got Brandon Sklenar cast in that and her little friend Michelle Marone. So I don't know. I'm thinking it's more that one
Yeah.
because Paul Feig wanted to get into horror and that's what he loves as a genre. And you could tell because then he just did The Housemaid. That's what he wanted to push
Okay.
towards, but had to do another simple favor. And I think it's because Blake needed some cha-ching, and that was the only movie that did well from her all of her movies.
That makes sense. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. More so than, I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
Interesting theories. And I was like, what is she talking about here?
And
All
if
right,
you
sorry.
always
We can
need
go
your
back to
friends
Isabella.
to, if you always need your friends to help you out, if you're always in deep water with every production you've been on, you're the problem. Like you're the
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Where it seems like Blake is the issue on
That's why I
everything.
think it's so funny, like the hindsight of like Taylor's songs, because it's like she even admits to so much of it. Like even just the canceled song now, Sing Everything That We Know. It's like all the Easter eggs just in that one song is like, okay. I want to know what other bodies in the closets that she was referencing.
Yeah.
Do you think Hollywood is going to take Blake and Ryan back after this is all said and done, or do you think,
Nah.
they're done?
I think
I feel
Ryan
like
will have
Blake's
a
done.
chance. Ryan will have a chance in a few years because he's a man and he's an excellent executive producer. He makes a lot of money for studios. So I think in a few years he'll probably slowly be allowed back. But I can't see a director ever wanting to work with Blake again.
And if they do, maybe the insurance policy needs to be tight and 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 like those cops have body cameras.
Yeah.
Any threat, any ask would need to be documented. And I think her paranoia is gonna stay there, you know. So
Hmm.
she's. I think Sanford said it best. It's cooked.
Yeah.
That Sanford guy. I love that he used that word. I'm like, oh, this is like an older exec, and he's like saying it's cooked. It's cooked.
Uh,
I mean,
What do
everyone
you guys
knew
Speaking
think
of
of
that.
older
Brandon's
execs,
messages?
the way Ryan spoke about Sony
Yeah.
execs, like how, what was the exact wording?
Oh.
Oh, it was so disgusting the
Oh
way
my
he
God, it's
spoke.
so
I'm like, who do
gross.
you think you are talking like that?
Oh my
Like
gosh.
zero respect.
Ryan,
Just disgusting.
do you know you have 30 minutes?
I
Oh
think,
yeah.
I mean, for him to be in front of the camera as an actor, I don't think will happen for a long time, but he might have his name secretly on the back end for producing. But the way they've spoke
Yeah.
about people and their like the distribution people, nobody wants to hear these actors be talk about them when they're giving them millions and millions of dollars.
Oh yeah. It's just like they've wasted so much. Someone said that Ryan needs to undergo anger management.
He is a very
What did you
angry
guys think?
one.
He did, guys.
Yeah.
2015 was it? Like because remember like the parkade situation with what's his name? uh, with the paparazzo from Canada. Like after that, he also that same year he had like an incident when he hit a friend or something. Like he had a fist fight, and then he went like to some anger management, and he talks about it like every so often about like going to New Mexico or somewhere like that. But he went and like it didn't help him very much.
No, it didn't help at all. He's very angry. And what gave me a little bit of joy last night when I was going to bed, after reading all of the Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds stuff specifically, I thought if Ryan was this mad because he thought that they were smearing Blake then, I bet he is furious right now. And I got just not to like laugh at anyone's pain, but after the things that they did to Wayfair, I went to bed like with a little bit of joy in my heart, knowing that those two right now are probably punching walls and like throwing cups, you know? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because he was so angry.
Every
He was his, who sends,
I
if
just
I
can't
ever
believe
saw,
he said he was like gonna spank him, and he's like he's so happy about it. Like this
yeah,
was the greatest experience of his life. Like Blake is talking about the opposite. It's the worst for her, but for Ryan, this has been the best.
It is
So who do you guys think
interesting.
actually wrote the rooftop scene? Who wrote the rooftop scene? Is it Blake or Ryan? Because they've said
Ryan.
both.
Ryan.
I
Ryan.
think
I
it's
don't think
Ryan.
Blake's ever written. If she was a writer, she would have wrote a movie for herself. I mean, that's what we do. We write movies that we can be in. Where's her?
Yeah.
She hasn't written anything for her to say, I've written 120 pages for a director once and he scanned them because he didn't want my name on it. And I know you're lying, girl.
Right.
Like no. It's like, oh my gosh. What did you guys think about the Brandon messages of him like going along with everything with Blake? But then Alex
He's
saying the
thirsty.
opposite of like he's wrapped around her finger. So
He's thirsty.
wasn't a good.
Thirsty.
He's still
Why
thirsty,
wasn't
Here's-
Ryan
even
good
right
about
now.
that part?
His IG right now is being attacked.
Because Ryan
too.
probably wanted him.
Oh, true.
That part. I think the more interesting text with Brandon Sklenar is Blake Lively saying, "Oh, it's time for me to be a pimp. Wear your short skirt and shake your ass." So it's okay for her as a producer to talk to the cast like that, but Justin as a director and producer can't say your wardrobe looks sexy.
Because she's HR. I'm telling you.
So I think a lot of things are gonna if these texts weren't there, and I don't even think we got all of them. I don't think we got all of them. One, because Wayfair isn't trying to bury them; they just want their name cleared, so they're only showing what they need to show to prove their case. And I think also they probably deleted a lot and or use Signal as well. That's why they always accuse Wayfair of using Signal, even though we know Jones and them use them as well. And I think if we did get more, it would be destroyed already. But a lot of Blake's texts go against anything that she has in her claim. So how are you saying, oh, him using the word sexy is really bad, but you're literally saying you're pimping out the cast? I think that's worse.
It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
the hypocrisy of it all, right? Like, fine that you're going to talk that way. I feel like most people in a lot of work environments don't actually care and don't expect this, like, Mother Teresa form of, like, communication. But then to turn around and say, it makes me uncomfortable when you talk to me this way. Well, you taught me to talk to you that way. So you change
Right.
your behavior and I won't talk to you the way you talk to other people. But to expect respect that you're not giving is peak white entitlement. Like just peak rich lady being like, I can talk that way, but you can't. Why?
And Rose asked, did the marshal privilege, is with the whole changing of the Van Zandt CEO to Ryan, do you think that was for Ryan to, like, to prevent him from being deposed in any kind of way?
Marital privilege, yeah.
Yeah.
But we know now that Blake was the president and CEO, or president at
Does
least.
that?
Because
Oh,
in her
so
deposition,
would
she
they
admitted
still be
to
liable?
authorizing the lawsuit, authorizing the subpoena, and authorizing the dismissal on behalf of Van Zandt. So
So could Ryan potentially like skate by and not get in trouble for any of this since Blake Lively's name was on everything at the time of like, the Van Zandt subpoena and everything?
I think so. I mean, I really do think that the judge believes his, a husband believing his wife and taking actions based on what his wife is telling him has a certain level of protection, which,
Right. Which I get, to an
sure.
extent.
Is
Does
it
anybody think
normal
they
for
have
people
burners?
to use shell companies to pay their employees and then use that company to file a fake lawsuit against breach of contract to an entity?
Like, how often
Um,
is this like a thing?
I think shell
I
companies are
mean,
very happen a lot
Yeah.
in
yeah,
our industry.
having various companies to do different things and to avoid liability is normal. If that shell company was only doing payroll for one of its, like, if it was a subsidiary of another company, say Maximum Effort, right? And all it did was payroll for Maximum Effort, you could make the argument that we need to pierce this corporate veil because this is an underfunded company only meant to, take some liability away from Maximum Effort. That's not a proper corporate purpose, but it's a difficult, that is so difficult to win in court. And so, yeah, they're normal, but these clandestine subpoenas, shout out ethics guy, like, not normal at all. Most of
So
us
would
really
Blake? So
respect the power we're given under the courts. Most of us really respect that, like, we are given the authority of the United States government. And we take that seriously. Like, when we took that oath, people were crying in the room. You know what I mean? Like, that
yeah, it means a
meant
lot.
something to a lot of us.
Do you think Justin is going to go after? So does he have to go after them separate, like in a separate lawsuit for the Van Sham part, or does it kind of all wash away?
I th- I think it's Jennifer Abel's claims to make because she's the one that's damaged. For the most
Mhm.
part, I mean, yes, the Wayfarer parties were damaged, but that information, one way or another, was gonna come out, right? Like,
Mhm. Right.
it's kind of hard, but I think the claims in the Abel v. Jones is where we're gonna see the rubber meet the road when it comes to Van Zandt. So I think
Oh,
people want to see it like right now, and they're like, I want retribution and I want justice right now. And I'm like, this is civil law, baby. Give it 10 years and maybe you'll have an answer. Like,
I know. It's like, man, when Hollywood makes the TV series about this, though.
yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I
Oh,
don't
I'm
even know
sure
who
the
would play Blake.
studios and the writers' rooms right now are busy. I bet there's already 4 movies and TV shows around this one concept itself. I bet they're already in pre-production. They're going to name it something different, of course, but yeah.
Sure.
I think the amount of
Yeah.
people being pulled into this, the amount of name drops that have happened is beyond anything that Hollywood has seen in a long time. And I am sure there are some people blasting Ryan and Blake right now about what they've done. I mean, all the Sony execs, all the WME, I'm sure Ari Emanuel is pissed. Like his whole like entity, his whole thing is being looked at under a microscope, and he's not a good guy. So everyone digging up all of his old stuff. I mean, everyone's probably pissed. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, everybody, I'm sure, is real mad at them right now over
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the thing
lingering
is
on a
that,
kiss, lingering on a
yeah.
kiss as a director. Oh my gosh.
The, and the
Or
other
just
thing
use
is
it as saying
that,
the word
Mandy, you
sexy.
probably, or maybe you know this. I'm guessing maybe you know this already. Like I know producers I've spoken to, like who before this, they are both of them already had very interesting reputations. You know, like Blake had reputation of being hard to work with and a nightmare on set. And then allegedly, from what I've been told by people that have worked with them, and then also Ryan is known to be like this brilliant a-hole, basically. Like he's like he's really good at what he does, but he's a jerk. Like that's known. And I feel like that's just been brushed under the rug because there's people like that in the industry. But now it's like on a level of like it's so bad. Like, and I agree. I think they're probably being inundated with a lot of pressure and like what are you doing?
Yeah, well,
And
it's just
I'm
not
sure they
cool.
have
It's not
money is
cool to be an
tied
asshole.
up. No,
Well,
it's not.
Yeah, so
But
many
it's
like
accepted
movies,
in the
like
industry.
to be a brunt or an asshole or to be rude to people, whereas before they used to call them like divas or, they're just a boss or whatever. But now it's like
Yeah.
people are looking
But
for
listen,
humanity.
the thing is, they exist. They'll always exist. Like I
Yeah.
can name drop right now who is and who isn't, and you guys probably already know because you've heard things about certain celebrities. Like they just exist, and people put up with it, right? Like they're like, oh, you bad attitude, you asshole, and whatever. Like not nice. She's a bitch. But like this is another level of like this is evil. This is like demonic. It's
I also
crazy. This is
feel though,
insanity.
yeah,
from somebody on the outside of Hollywood, um, I feel like some of that though, yeah, they're a bitch and they come with an audience. Yeah, they're a diva, but they draw an audience. I don't feel like Blake has her own audience outside of grabbing from Ryan and Taylor's audience. And so if they're not going to stand by her in all this, which I will eat my words if I am wrong, but I have been betting this entire time that marriage is over. It is very uncomfortably silent in their house for the first time in 15 years, and they're both dying on the inside. Like, but I don't know. She doesn't draw an audience and she's hard to work with. What's the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people have gotten cut for less, so I don't see why they'd keep her. And especially when like her sister doesn't have as much of a pull as she once did, you know.
Right.
Yeah. And he's such a media mogul, like as jerk of a guy that he is, like he's still gonna have projects. He's still like Mandy said, he'll be behind the camera and he'll continue because he can. He has those talents and connections and power,
Oh
unfortunately.
yeah.
So, but
And there's still a
she
whole
doesn't
like
have anything.
side of like people that like Deadpool and they're just gonna follow him for that, you know, to wherever he goes next.
Yeah.
It's so funny that they were accusing Justin of being big in the manosphere because I feel like incels love Ryan Reynolds. Like, I feel like he's the one that's
So
actually bigger
creepy.
in the manosphere.
Oh
So
yeah.
creepy.
I'm trying to find the video. There was one creator that she made a video and made like a really good point about just how everyone is acting like Justin is the newcomer when really he's more experienced than Blake. And like
Annie.
if you just go to like the IMBD, it literally shows you like he's been more of a producer, he's been more of a director versus Blake, and she's constantly acting like he doesn't know what he's talking about. I just I
Yeah,
think
Annie
that's
made
one.
that video where she was like,
Yes,
let's just look at the numbers.
yes,
Let's
yeah,
just
and it's
just look
like
into this.
yeah, and it's clear as day. And even with other like the other directors she's worked with before, it's like because they're more experienced, she's just like, okay, I'm not going to do anything because she always brings up like their past accolades of they worked on this one movie that's huge now. Um, I can't even think of some of the actors, and she'll just like Woody Allen, for example. She'll just bring up
Yeah.
all of like everything he's done, and so that's why she doesn't like fight him on it. But with Justin, he doesn't. She didn't feel like he had something that was like his name break album or like name breaking movie. So she's just like, I could do anything. I can walk all over you and just take it, and no one will know. Versus like if
Yeah.
she took over a Woody Allen film, people would be like, "Where's Woody Allen?" Like
Right.
I feel like she really didn't think that anyone would notice like Justin not being at the premiere.
There it is. She didn't think if she
Yeah.
thought if I bring Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, no one will notice that Justin isn't here, and it's gonna be me, 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 me. but everyone was waiting for Justin. I mean, she just underestimated his fan base, and she confuses experience over stardom. She thinks she's never worked on an independent set before. She's used to these huge, extravagant sets. And there's way different working on a huge, big budget film than there is working on an indie passion project. I mean, it's just so different. And she, I think, thinks stardom is better than experience, but she doesn't have any
Well,
body of work to, say that with.
And being as
it's the
paranoid as
text
she
she
is
had
about
with
the
Taylor.
digital era. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, to be as paranoid, as she seems to be in these texts about the digital stuff, like to put him in the basement and not think about like there's photos that are gonna come out. That is really weird to me. Like, you're that paranoid about the digital stuff, but like you didn't think that through,
Yeah.
Or the compromise was to stick him in the basement. Like there was no other place to stick him, like a basement of all places. I don't know. It's just that part is weird.
They're very
And
reactive.
the
I don't think that they
and the
think it through.
no. And the digital footprint of it all, like you've admitted on two different sets, both Gossip Girl and that Oliver Stone set, that this is what you do. You ice out people who you don't like and you get everybody to unfollow them. So when this happened, it was like, well, is this Blake Lively being Blake Lively or did he actually do something?
There's this like famous quote by Salma Hayek where she says like something along the lines of well, she was so strong. You know what she
She was
did.
fierce or something.
She
Yeah.
was fierce because of like what she did on the other side. She like supposedly stood up for herself. I think Blake really thought that she was going to come off like that again. Like that
Yeah.
would, and she's still trying to do that with this Sigmund McCauley coming out and saying things like she's just the woman standing up for herself and blah 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 blah. Every woman needs to not be afraid to do this. Like you can stand up for yourself. That's one thing, but being evil and trying to destroy someone is completely different. Like what?
Right.
Just like what Jenny Slate said in her deposition, they said, "How come you're not part of the lawsuit?" And she said, "Well, I worked it out on set and I moved on." Yeah, Blake worked it out on set too, and then every chance she got for a year brought up the same little instance. It's like she had a choice to either forgive and forget and move on, or file a report, escalate it, stop shooting, work out your issue, go to your agent, go to your union rep, go to all these things, and she didn't. She seemingly moved on in front of their face, but then every chance she got kept bringing up the same grievance. Oh, how many times do they want you to apologize for saying sexy in front of you? How many times do you want them to apologize? Like they apologized every meeting for like 3 weeks or something. She brought it up and then took a week off, came back with the same grievances that they already apologized for the week before. It's like, oh my gosh, girl. Like, what do you want? If you don't want to be part of it, don't be part of it. That's it. She could have walked away way long before even she realized, like in February, pre-production, 3 months before going to camera. And in April, she's talking to Taylor Swift about these guys being like clowns and doofuses. Then don't go to camera. She could have quit at any time and she didn't. And that's
Which is crazy too, because she could have said, look, this isn't the project for me. But that introduced her to Colleen Hoover. And knowing how excited Colleen Hoover was, she could have been like, hey, just as an aside, I don't think Justin and I are going to vibe very well together. I don't think the chemistry is there. This isn't the project for me. I'm just coming back from postpartum. Like, I just want some more time. Right? She could have said all those things and been like, but I want to work on one of your movies in the future. And she would have snapped up one of those movies so fast. And probably could have said, like, I want to produce and direct one of your movies in the future. And Colleen Hoover would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, and why is that? Do you think that's why she wanted to be on this film to get, like, from the beginning? Is it just because she wanted to be on this book? Like, what about this film? Why did she let go? Is
Well,
it just
The
because she
built-in
thought
fan
it'd be
base.
Yeah, there's text
Yeah.
from Blake Lively in the spring of 2023 where she's talking to this guy, Louis. I haven't been able to figure out who this Louis guy is yet, but she even says, and he got a deal to a massive book. and like she wanted the rights to the book, and then her and Colleen in August are talking, and she's saying like, oh, this is going to be about Justin's wedding proposal video, and saying how cringe it is, and then Colleen jokes that that's going to be the beginning with Blake of It Starts With Us. So the whole thing all along was because Justin was so inexperienced. How dare he be able to get the rights to this massive franchise? That's literally what she tells her friend Louis
I,
in pre-production.
I'm reading this book by Brené Brown called Atlas of the Heart.
I love that
And
book.
oh, you have read it?
Uh-huh.
I am like in the first few pages, but I love the distinction that Brené Brown makes between jealousy and envy. And jealousy is like you feel that something or someone is trying to like alienate affection, right? Or take something that you already have, and so therefore you're jealous that they're trying to take that away. Envy is I want something that you have, and I also don't want you to have it. And I think that really encapsulates the emotion that Blake had towards Justin since the beginning. I don't think you should have it, and I want it. And you can see it in the communication in that exact text. And on top of that, when he refers to him as like, and his like cult money behind him, so you're envious about the stuff and the things that he has, and you don't want him to have it. So she has
Right.
some really nasty emotions behind her.
Yeah, she
I know, I
feels
feel like Blake
entitled
and
to it
Ryan.
almost.
Oh yeah. That's the nepo baby of her coming out of just she's never been told no. Clear. It's very cool.
Yeah. Did you
And
guys how like she was claiming that she kind of did I understand correctly? She was claiming that she put together Book Bonanza or something like that? Like on the PGA letter? I was like, what?
Yeah. Someone, Sean asked, did anyone notice her nice message to Justin in May and was the same day that she was talking bad about him to Liz Plank?
The safe space comment, was that when she sent that
Yeah, when Liz,
message? This is
yeah,
a
like
safe
it was
space,
when she,
Justin. You can say whatever you
yeah,
want.
yeah, and then like with Liz Plank, she's basically just like, I know you warned me about him, but not like, man, not this much.
Yeah.
Someone's
I
asking who's Louis.
Uh,
I think Louis is an alias for someone.
There was another name somewhere in a text where it seemed like it was someone else too.
Roy
I think it was,
Orbison?
yeah, Roy
Yes,
Orbison.
I
yes, because it
think
was
that
like
And
an
do we
old
know if it's just
musician.
one phone or like multiple phones that they've
I
extracted these
I
text
think they have
messages
burners.
from? I
I
think
think they
so
have
too.
burners.
So like, but I'm wondering like what's been given, you know, were they multiple phones and that were, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
why Louis? Like
I'd
who's
have to go
Louis?
back and look at the bait stamp as to see who provided them, because some of them might have come from Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I I think the Roy Orbison is Ryan Reynolds. I think, or my other thought is that Ashley Avignone girl.
That's what I
Ooh.
thought.
I felt like it was
Could
more
she
her
get in?
than Ryan. Sorry, go ahead.
Would she get in trouble at all for connecting Stephanie with Blake, or would that be more just Stephanie's issue
Yeah,
with
I think that's
connecting
still
with?
Stephanie,
Okay.
right? Like,
Jeez.
somebody told me they had some really bad text messages. So I relayed that to the friend of the person that the bad text messages are about. Like, it's so disconnected. I mean, if we had some proof that they were like, hey, there's some bad text messages, and I've got this really great way that you can file a lawsuit and get them, then I think we've got some liability. But to just be an intermediary and not really have the full context, I think is, you
Yeah.
know, kind of tough.
I know, because this entire case is all about context right now. Because,
No,
jeez. I'm like, what
I'm
did
trying
you
to
guys
pull up
think
those.
about, like Brandon getting that deal because of Blake? Like how Paul was like, yeah, Blake kept reaching out to me and saying you need to meet this guy.
So
He'll probably
obvious,
get
right?
Batman too. He'll
Yeah.
probably get Batman.
Oh yeah.
He's so I do not think that man is attractive, not because of this case, but like he's so like I already am questioning if I have facial blindness, and I'm like, you could line up 6 white dudes and I'd be like, that's all the same guy. Like he just is so generic looking. I didn't think he was that impressive in the movie. And he's a douchebag. So
I
all
still
of
haven't watched
these
the movie.
texts, it's not worth it.
What did you say,
I
Lynn?
believe you. I said I still haven't
can't
watched it.
Oh,
I still haven't watched the movie. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So all these texts have the bait
Yeah.
stamp of BL, meaning that Blake Lively is the one that produced them. Between her and Taylor.
All of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
except for the one where it was like the file was too large. But those are BL too. So it seems she produced all of them.
Interesting.
So it makes me wonder if Justin ever does that mean he never got text from Taylor, or just that he found some and he didn't feel like it was needed?
That subpoena to Taylor and her lawyers was withdrawn. We were just looking at it the other night, and they specifically said withdrawn and no responsive documents were produced. So according to that, now what could have been produced was, hey, just so you know, here's Blake Lively's 6 phone numbers she texts me from. That's not a responsive
Yeah.
document. That's just telling you verbally what you should be looking for in your subpoena, right? So doesn't mean she gave them nothing. I don't think she did give them anything, but I'm to the point now where I can't see her in a good light ever. So,
Really?
she does not get the benefit of the doubt from me at all. So
The new PR spin I just looked at on my phone.
Is there anyone in this? Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's the new spin? No. Go ahead.
That Travis Kelce urged Taylor Swift to stay away from Blake Lively. He's like man of the year, you know. He was in her ear urging her about to be
Hero.
fearful of their friendship together. Like, I can't
The
believe
Swifties are going to be so mad. They'll be like, he told Taylor what to do.
Right.
Such feminists that they have to use their husbands and fiancés for work meetings and PR and writing, and oh my gosh, wow. But yeah, I just
And
saw
when her and Travis break up, the Swifties will go, he kept her from her friends. He drove a wedge between her friends and he was abusive. Right? In the same way she loved her privacy when she was dating Joe Alwyn. And then the Swifties were like, they broke up and they were like, he kept her from the public. He kept her locked up. And it's like, she's one of the most powerful people on this planet. He didn't do anything of the sort.
They
I
mentioned
think
that he did unfollow Ryan. Do you think that was intentional to throw the public off, or do you think that he's really not cool with Ryan?
Ryan still follows him, and they have business ventures together. End of story. They're all still friends.
they're all still
Rest my
friends.
case.
I think they soft
I don't have any more
launched.
than that.
They soft launched Blake Lively back in their circle. I think it was on purpose when Travis Kelce's podcast released that one clip of Blake Lively, and everyone went crazy and they deleted it. And I think that was on purpose to soft launch the public to see, like, can we bring Blake back or not?
Like, gauge it.
And they were like, nope, not yet. Okay, we'll wait some more. Because nothing like that's by accident. Like, you're telling me Travis Kelce posted a clip talking about Blake Lively, just, oh, it was an accident. Come on.
Well, and the controversy itself drives people to go to his website too, right? Like any sort of controversy of like, oh, he unfollowed, like that gets people to go to his Instagram. That gets people, that drives up clicks. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, the idea that it means more. I don't know what's happening with my hair today, but we're going with it.
Wow,
But yeah, it's
follow Taylor. That's crazy.
Yeah, someone just said, Maggie just said that Travis doesn't even follow Taylor, so to them it's not even a big deal.
I was
But Taylor doesn't even follow anyone on Instagram.
I was
what?
gonna say, Travis Kelce needs to listen to Blake Lively and take that master class of Taylor Swift, because eventually his day will come and he's gonna need a master PR person to outdo Taylor. So he better be
Yeah.
taking notes, something.
Yeah.
Take that master class.
Do
I
you
said
guys think it's a
So
genuine relationship?
have you seen his old?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mandy.
I don't
I know, me
know.
too, me too, me too, girl.
Yeah.
It's a PR relationship.
It was all for
There.
money.
I think no, and then there's days where I almost fall for it, and I'm like, maybe they are. But
No, because if
it's
you
just
go on
like trying to fathom that world.
the Maximum Effort
What were you
website,
saying?
actually boasts about having Travis Kelsey's mom meet the guy from State Farm. He coordinated that PR, and State Farm is the biggest sponsor of the NFL, and then also became the biggest sponsor of Taylor Swift's YouTube, and has stakes with Maximum Effort. So everyone and the NFL, since Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey have got together, has made over $1 billion more in profit per year. So it was all
The
about money.
NFL that was like, we want more women to watch. How
Money.
do we do that? Oh, weird. Taylor Swift is now dating one of our players. What a coincidence.
Yeah, they all got paid big time, and it was
Well, and
all
then Maximum Effort is the one that did the commercial for her.
that did it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
eventually, they already
Oh
have like
gosh.
they're already kind of
Hmm.
putting it in right now to media that they're stalling their wedding, they're stopping the plans. They're not going to organize yet because Travis is deciding his career. Blah blah. That's not a real
Soft launching the
relationship. They
breakup.
they might do it just in spite of everyone because they don't care wasting the money, and then in a couple of years, break up. But I don't think it's real.
If and
Yeah.
when they do it, it'll be to make money. That wedding will make them another billion, you guys. That will
Oh,
make them
yeah.
another billion for sure. Like everything that goes along
I
with that
have a feeling
wedding.
she's gonna try to be like the Queen of England. Yeah. She's. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine the documentaries they're gonna do about the wedding?
I would never want to be a wedding coordinator for Taylor Swift, the bridezilla of 2026. I'm sure. Like, no, thank you. Oh my gosh, no.
the way she
Her
planned.
mom would
Yeah.
be the nightmare.
Oh.
Andrea Swift. This is for Taylor. Like I can just hear her out of that like mouth that doesn't move. I've had okay, so I was in the service industry forever, and I've met several people who were like, Andrea Swift was rude. She doesn't tip well. Somebody did housekeeping for her, and they were like, she was one of the worst people I've ever worked for. So when you are not cool to service staff, I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
sue you.
You better give 20% tip.
Can I tell you guys a thing that's gonna make me sound a little cuckoo and crazy, but like I believe it to be true?
Tell us.
So,
Please.
well, Ken's already knows this. I've shared it with her. But so, um, remember when Taylor Swift and Louis Capaldi had that interview?
Mm.
And then there was a whole
Yes.
controversy of like, did she say jinx or thanks? Well, I made a video and it went like super viral, like I don't know, like 1.5, 1.6 million, right? And
Shit.
then my video was picked up by the Australian like big podcast over there, and then they talked about it, and then they were like debunking it, whatever, whatever. Okay, so that happened, right? 2.5 weeks later, so if you guys don't know, I do hair, right? I start getting messages from someone wanting to see me, and like I'm not really taking new clients, and this person is very persistent. Like, and I'm like, okay, fine, okay. So this person comes in, I'm doing her hair, okay, and she Kenz, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you remember? So this
Yeah, I
person,
know which story you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't say her name, but she works in PR, and she's worked. It's my belief that she came from Taylor's camp. That's where I'm going. Okay, but when she first came in, I didn't know. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because you just talked about how her mom is rude and doesn't tip and blah 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 blah. And like the parents have a certain reputation, and I know of this reputation. So this woman comes in, this girl, I mean, she's like in her probably late 20s, early 30s, very intelligent girl who works with a lot of sports PR as well as celeb PR. Okay.
Okay.
So she comes in and I don't know this at first. So I'm just working on her or whatever. And all of a sudden she's like, "Do you mind if I'm working while you're doing my hair?" I'm like, "No, not at all. Go ahead." And she's very nice. And she gets a phone. She keeps like calling and texting someone. And she's talking to this person. And I didn't even realize who it was. And she kept putting him on speakerphone. Okay? Like in this day and age, who does it? Like you can have an ear pod in, you can be texting, you can hold it up to your ear, right? And at this
Yeah.
point, like it's not like she can't use her ear. Like I'm just cutting her hair at this point, and I haven't started her color yet. And she puts him on speakerphone, and at first I didn't even realize who it was. Then I realized who it was. Do I tell you guys who it was? Or
Oh yeah.
okay, so it was Flavor Flav.
Yeah, you don't.
Flavor.
Oh,
Okay,
a huge Swiftie.
right. And at first, I don't even realize that it's him. And she's like, she's just talking to him, and then she hangs up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. He's so much. Like I have to call and remind him of like everything he needs to do." And oh, he's such a nice. I'm like, who is that? Like I didn't clock it at first, and then she's like, "Oh, I work with Flavor Flav, and he has going to do this and that." And she's like, "I'm calling him to remind him." And she was like setting up his driver and telling him what time he's, whatever, all this stuff, right? And I was like, "Oh, cool. Okay." And I didn't know that he's a huge Swifty and he's like called King Swifty or something. I still don't know,
Yeah.
right? So I'm still working on her. And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. He seemed really nice on the phone." She's like, "Yeah, he's great. You know, he really made a come." And she starts talking about Taylor Swift. And I'm like, and she tells me the story of like, she was the one that helped him become this like Swifty king or whatever. She's the driving force behind that. Okay. And I'm like, as soon as she starts saying that, I kind of like froze. Like, I was like, I just had this crazy video where I'm completely
Mm-hmm.
dissing her and saying that she said jinx and basically was like talking, like, basically like trying to control the room with Louis Capaldi and all that. And I'm like, is this girl here?
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay, play it cool, whatever. So I'm still working on her. And she's super nice, you guys. Like, I really liked her actually. And then she starts talking about it, whatever. And then she's like, "Look at this sweater. Just last night, uh, he was gifted by Taylor's team, and I can't remember what it said, but she had two of these sweaters. She was wearing one, and one was for him. And she was gonna see him right after the hair appointment, and she was gonna give him the gift that was from Taylor." And then she pulls up a video and she starts working on this. She starts editing his social media video. And it's a video of him and a PR rep from Taylor Swift. And they're giving him this gift from Taylor Swift, blah, 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 right? And they take all these pictures and videos, and she's making the post for him. And she keeps showing me whatever. Long story short, she starts talking about Taylor Swift. I don't ask anything. I don't care. Like I don't want to know. But she just and then she and then I'm like, I'm not really a fan. I don't really know, but that's cool. Like that he made this comeback and that's what he's doing now. Like good for him. What a great angle. Blah blah blah. Like bringing like a new popular, what a black crowd for whatever. Right. So we're talking about,
Yeah.
and then somehow she starts talking like, how did she start talking about her family? And I said, "Oh, I said, it's interesting." Uh, and I'm thinking she already knows this Louis Capaldi thing. I was like, there's a lot of like stuff going on about with her right now. Like, what do you think of that? Like, do you know about the Blake Lively case? So I ask, and she
Sure.
goes, "Oh yeah, that like it was the time where there was a completely big false thing being put out by TMZ. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but it was basically alluding to like she won. Do you guys remember what it was
Yeah,
like?
when his
It
stuff got.
was it the one where they got like legal experts to weigh in on where they were in the case. Yeah, I'm gonna use quotey fingers because you have three lawyers on the internet. Not that I would respond to TMZ, but like not
It
actually
was,
Golden and Little Girl Attorney are actually familiar with this case. Anyway, was it that
but
one?
I can't remember exactly what the headlines were, but it was like everybody. It looked like Blake Lively won.
Mm.
Like she's winning. And I can't remember the headlines that they put up, but it was incorrect. What they said was incorrect. It was like something was dismissed. No, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Whatever. It was a false, whatever it was false, right?
Right.
And she goes, "Oh, I just saw that, and like, Blake Lively's winning the case. I just saw that." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "That's not real. Like,
Right.
you know that, right?" And she
You
goes,
do
and
this.
yeah, and I'm like, "Well, you know that, like, you're in the industry, like." And then she goes, "Oh no, it's real, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "No, it's not." So then I like start educating her on whatever, right? But in my head, I'm like, "Is what is happening right now? Like, am I in the Twilight Zone?" And I'm like,
I
"It's
think
not
so.
real, blah blah blah." And like and then I'm like, there's this whole thing, and it's like it's connected to Taylor Swift and blah blah blah. And then she goes, "Taylor Swift is such a sweetheart. Her family is one of the nicest families I've ever met. She has the nicest parents. They are the nicest. She would never ever be involved. They are not friends and blah 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 blah." And I was like, "I think they're friends." And I just told her what I think, everything I post about.
Sure.
And she was like, "Oh no, you're wrong. You're wrong." And she was like for about 10 minutes talking about how amazing of a family they are. And then we just changed the subject. And I was like, and then after she left, like I literally like it took me like 2 hours I like immediately texted Kenzie and Maggie May all day. I was like, "You guys, I think someone was just here trying to convince me that like she's a good person and like stop posting or something." Like it was like, and then I told my husband, he was laughing. He's like, "You're being paranoid." And I'm like, "No, I don't think I'm being paranoid because that's what these people do. Like
Right.
they infiltrate in the weirdest ways."
Right.
And her and I still texted after that. Like we both like Coldplay and we chatted about that. And like we follow each other on social media. And I'm like, "But why did you really come to me? Like
Right.
there was
Coincidence.
no one else to go to, and you really wanted to. I told you I'm not taking new clients, and you like she pushed it, and I finally made an appointment. Like, do you guys think I'm crazy?"
No. I
Okay.
mean, whether or not that's exactly what happened, who knows? But like, I don't think it's crazy to have those suspicions,
Yeah. And then
especially.
I thought no, and then recently again when these text messages came out, I thought of it again, and I'm like, I kind of feel like something happened.
I mean, I do think it behooves a lot of people to be like, "Oh, Taylor Swift is so nice," because like, who wants to piss off Taylor Swift, right? So I could also see like just not wanting someone, but it's so weird to be like, "Oh, that's my client, Flava Flav, and he's a Swiftie, and I
And I
made him a Swiftie."
and here's my speakerphone. Listen to our conversation, and then I'm going to talk to you about it some more. Like the whole thing was weird. Like who does
Yeah,
that? I've worked on so many people like her that don't do that. They keep it private. Like they put their little headphone like earpod in. They don't want you to hear what's going on. They don't want to tell you anything. They don't really share, but she like almost overshared, and I was like, "This is weird." This is
Yeah.
weird.
Especially of her saying who she's talking to and having him on speaker. That's wild. Usually they're very top secret about who they're talking to and what they're talking about. I
Yeah,
don't
and
think
she
you're
like had the
crazy.
sweatshirt on that Taylor Swift gifted them, and then she showed me the one she was gonna give him. She even brought it in with her. Like, why do you have both sweatshirts with you? Why did you bring them in to your hair appointment?
Plus, bring
Like,
it.
leave them in the car.
Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, I just thought that would be a fun share.
um I also think it's hilarious. Like, I'm gonna give you a gift. I'm a billionaire. Here's merchandise I got for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not a nice watch, not something engraved. Here's my merch.
Yeah,
That's a crazy gift.
yeah. They're the nicest family.
I'm gonna start giving people gifts that just are like t-shirts with my face on it. Merry Christmas.
It's bizarre, bizarre. Anyway, who knows if I'll ever see her again, but maybe I'll muster up the courage to ask her. Be like, what were you really doing here?
Right?
Yeah.
The Taylor Swift of it all in this case is the thing that like drew me in initially. and I continue to find it just very fascinating how she's in on all of this with Blake and then publicly ditches Blake and I don't know, like is now getting away scot-free. Like people are just like, oh, that's okay. Like she realized that Blake was lying to her and cut ties. And I'm like, when you've been friends with somebody for 10 years, you know. Like, she knew who Blake was.
Totally.
That's what's crazy about the Swifties is like no matter what, they have an excuse of like she's either the victim or she didn't know, and it's like, okay, well now you have proof that she knew. Okay, well she was just being a good friend.
Right.
We would all do the same thing, and it's like no matter what, for some reason, I feel like at this point, even if she said something bad about the Swifties, they would just be like, well, we were too hard on her. We were expecting
She
too
did.
much. And they'd get over it. Yeah.
She talked shit about her fandom on the Tortured Listeners
Yeah.
department.
Oh,
And
yeah.
her fandom was
She's
like, oh, that
I
wasn't about
appreciate it.
us.
Yeah.
I need to know more about that.
Yeah,
What did she say?
They're in
I can't remember the exact lyrics, but she just has all these lyrics where she's like talking about how people talk about her. And then there was one where it was like in But Daddy I Love Him, she's like they're clutching their pearls and these Heathers and Tiffany's are out here talking about me. But it was very clearly like directed at her fandom because her fandom had just chased away Maddie Healy.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's wild. Clearly, I'm
That-
not a Swiftie.
She was so mad that people weren't like on.
But he
What
had that
did you
like
guys-
but he had just been on that podcast talking about like watching like great porn or something. I don't know. It was gross.
Go ahead.
So would you guys bet money that there's text messages between them that talk about how much she hates her fans?
100%.
100%. Absolutely.
so.
She even said that if she would have came up with the French lip bracelet, she wishes she came up with that first so she could have sold them. That's crazy. You already have $1 billion. Now you need bracelets?
It's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah, I think
At any point, the Swifties are going to start siding more with Blake. Like if Taylor's mentioned, they kind of protect her, and then they stop at that point. Do you think?
Again, I
what
can't
was the
hear you.
beginning? No.
Can you hear me?
You keep getting cut out and frozen.
Oh, dang it. My internet.
Guys, sorry, I had to
Dang
take
it.
that call. Glad to have you back, Kens.
I think she's typing something. Technical difficulties.
My internet keeps freezing.
Oh no.
Guys, I have a question. I have a question regarding Bansham. So for Britt. So for example, really quick while Kens comes online. Did you guys see how like the Banzan subpoena, like I hadn't read it before until the unsealing, right? So it's talking about it's asking for communications regarding Ryan Reynolds. Like what does he have to do with anything else? You know, with anything. And the third party like the Betty Buzz and like Blake Brown, what does that have to do with anything? Like I was shocked. Like I read that and I was like come again? Like what does that have to do with Jen Abel's phone? And like why are you asking about Ryan Reynolds and like all these like your little entities? What it does have, just the way.
So her corporations have morality clauses, meaning if she is in reputational trouble in the media, they have the right to terminate certain portions of her contracts, right? And so I have now, and Sarah is actually the one that really brought me here. Sarah Yarn and Order. I've been wondering if she was facing some sort of like, hey, you need to fix what's going on in the media around the premiere, around that August snafu time, right? Where everyone just hates her online. I'm wondering if somebody reached out from the companies and was like, we're going to cancel your services if you don't fix this. And so at that point, and at the same time, she's getting communications from Ashley to Taylor to her or whatever through Stephanie Jones. And she's thinking, I don't know what can be done, but fix this. Like, I think she walked into a lawyer's office and was like, I'm getting backlash. It obviously can't be me because the world loves me, like Blake, right? So it must be them. Here are these text messages. Fix this. Like,
That
figure out a way to sue them.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Ken's is just gone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Come
text her.
back.
That was perfect.
I've been practicing that for 30 years now. I also found it interesting. Blake and Taylor in their text messages, Blake was like morally offended that Justin had said he's not into pop culture. And going back to her, being really mad that she was working on an indie set, she was like, how dare he say he's not into pop culture? Like, you're one of the top stars in the world. And I know Taylor is very sensitive about like indie music being real music and her music being not real music. We get it. She's got a lyric about that on every album. She's very sensitive. Fine. So Blake was playing into that a little bit, but I did find it interesting. Like, they just really wanted to make this mainstream. They wanted to make all of the people in it mainstream, which is fine. I mean, get your bag, like, make your money. That's fine. But to get mad at somebody who runs an independent movie studio because he's not into pop culture, it's like, yeah, he would be working with someone else if he was.
It's like they wanted him to be somebody that he wasn't, and they were offended that he wasn't fake, but at the same time called him fake. Everything that she's done so far, or like what we've picked up from who these people are, is I want it both ways, and both ways are right. And I'm the only one that holds that capacity. You
Yeah.
cannot make that judgment about me. I'm the only one that holds that. And you are fake, but also you're not fake enough to fit in with us.
Right.
Mm.
You're fake, but welcome to Hollywood. You're going to learn to get stabbed in the back by fake people. And it's like,
It's the um, I can make these jokes. I can be dark humored. But you cannot.
right.
You doing it is over the line. And you should read a room at all times. And if you don't, you're in the wrong.
Right.
Even in her messages, Blake Lively's, where she's like, I've had an existential crisis, nowhere in there did I see, I'm going to reflect upon my actions.
Yeah.
It was more like, all these people are wrong about me.
Yeah.
And my existential crisis, they caused it. Like, this man caused all of it. There was no accountability from anything. So it's like all or nothing. My both realities that I'm making exist. No one else's can fit, and it's irking, really.
Well, and the lively creators and a lot of the mainstream media or the tabloids are still running with this, like, it's a smear campaign.
Yeah.
If you still believe him, it's a smear campaign. And I'm like, you mean to tell me they sat on Blake Lively being racist in text messages, on Blake and Taylor being nasty in text messages for 13 months? Maybe less time, right? Maybe they got it last June. So they sat on that for 7 months and didn't drop that in the media. And you want to tell me those are the people conducting a smear campaign in the media? That doesn't make sense.
And then also, there was no messages where Justin and Jamie are talking bad about Sony people. The way
Right.
that Ryan Reynolds is referring to them and the way that they're threatening them, there's no messages like that because they're the ones being threatened all of the time.
Yeah.
And so that's what I find wild. Like there's no like talking about them like they're ineffectual elderly people. There's
Yeah.
no rudeness.
Britt, I have a question for you, and you can answer it like as much as you like, or if you're not comfortable, because it's about another lawyer.
Okay.
So the Sigmund Macaulay lady who came out, did you watch the whole thing that she said after the hearing? Like, did you hear all of it?
I didn't.
Okay. So okay. So
And
basically,
that's
there
the
she's the
Epstein.
Epstein victims
Yeah. Okay.
person. So she basically, I, I always thought she was amazing, and now I can't stand her. But because, yeah, you're just a greedy, unethical person. Anyway, so in my opinion,
Yeah.
so part of what she said, so TMZ like released two different videos when she came out. The first one was just the part about like the first one on the top of their article or whatever. You know how they have different videos. It was just the part about where they're like kind of asking her about the Blake Lively stuff and however she responds. I mean the Taylor Swift stuff and however she responds, like about
Right.
friends, acquaintances, whatever. But then there's this whole spiel that she gives, and I don't know how many of you guys heard it, but there's parts, it's so dramatic, and she goes, he talked about his, I don't want to say it incorrectly, but like, she says all these things that he did,
Sure.
which he didn't do. We know this, but she says it in a very matter of fact way, and I was like, when I saw that, I was like, how? I mean, I guess my question to you is like, as an attorney, like as a lawyer, how does she can do that? Like, just
I mean,
because?
Brian Friedman is conducting a smear campaign, right? Like she can say all those things and it's not defamation, but Brian Friedman can't, according to the same legal team. So like
Right.
there's that one, like, you know, if you're gonna make an argument, mean it. You know, don't just make it because it sounds good or you want to attack your opposing side. But you know, there's, I think the litigation privilege is sort of accepted where like you can say things to the media about your client's case and we accept that as sort of a part and parcel of the whole process. So it's okay
And
for
at the
her to
end,
say that because it's like a cornerstone of being able to defend your client also means you can defend your client in the media. The problem is that out of the other side of their mouth they're being like, well, Brian Friedman can't say, you know, that Justin Baldoni is innocent and that Blake Lively is a big fat liar. Like, okay, well,
but the things that she said, like I had never heard of before. Like I had
Yeah.
never heard that
oh,
Blake Lively,
interesting.
like like she was like he put out his thing, his genitalia. Like she, let me find it, you guys.
He
I
mentioned
don't even.
Lynn, you sound
Did
very
you?
far away.
I sound far away. Is that
Far
better?
away.
Is that better? She based. I gotta find it. I'll find it and I'll
he
play it
mentioned
real quick.
like oaths and like gratuitous things and stuff. He was like very
I can't hear you.
oh can you hear me now?
A little
Okay.
bit, yeah.
Oh, but sorry. Like she was
Yes.
like, super like shocked, like talking about like oh,
You sound like you're in a fish tank.
oh
We
sorry.
can't hear you.
Very good.
Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on.
It's okay. Technical difficulties today, right before the storm.
Can you hear me now or does it still sound bad?
Could hear
Okay,
you.
okay. So Sigrid was being like really shocking. Like, not actually Golden and little girl attorney were talking about like that she gave some statements to Inner City Press and to Court TV, and like he was talking like she was talking about Justin mentioning like having like O's, you know, like during Schmecks, you know what I mean?
Yes. That he
Gratuitous.
talked about orgasms.
Yes, that. Like, I didn't know if I could say that word, but yes, exactly. And like gratuitous scenes, just be very shocking
Can
stuff.
I play it? Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Kenz, is that okay? Okay. It's loading the ads
Oh
right
yeah.
now, so
Yeah.
like I'll play it. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying like the O's and
I mean, but he probably did talk about orgasms because the script called for a simultaneous orgasm. So again, when you talk about sexual harassment, you also have to take into context the type of workplace. It's not just there's this blanket rule and you can never talk about orgasms at work. And what's appropriate in an office, my boss is not going to come up and talk to me about simultaneous orgasms with his wife. But somebody shooting a movie scene, directing a movie scene where the script calls for it, and then she's like, oh my god, I could never orgasm with my husband, I'd hate for him to see that, like, or whatever, like, you know what I mean, like, that is within the context of this creative process, and the rules that they are suggesting should exist would
yeah.
stave so much creativity. Okay, well, let's get an intimacy coordinator because I think your hand should be an inch lower on her back.
Right. Well, no, I guess my question is if I can play it, I'll play it and then you tell me. I mean, I was like shocked because I was like, if somebody doesn't know anything about this case, which there are a lot of people, and they watch this, oh my God. Like,
That's the
I
point
was,
of it, though, right?
that's
Like,
the, yeah,
her
that's totally the
job
point. That's her job.
her job is to come in, and for anybody that's confused or doesn't really want to dive into the details, they just want the news to tell them what to think.
Yeah.
This Epstein survivor lawyer with this great name recognition is telling you these awful things that he did, and people are it's for the shock value.
Yeah. Can I play it? Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Is it
Tell
a
me if you guys can
copyright?
hear.
My name is
Yeah.
Sigrid
It
McCauley
should
and
be.
I represent Blake
Should work.
Lively. What you saw today is really what this case is about. The core of this case is about a woman trying to protect herself and others in the workplace. There's been mountains of evidence that have come out this week that have been unsealed. And what that evidence shows very clearly is that Blake was not alone. There were multiple women who raised concerns in this workplace. What that evidence shows is that Mr. Baldoni felt free to talk about having orgasms in the workplace. He felt free to talk about having sex with women without their consent. He felt free to talk about and describe his genitalia. He felt free to call women in the workplace, quote, sexy or quote, hot. And Mr. Heath felt free to walk into Blake Lively's trailer when she was in a state of undress and stare at her without her permission. There are mountains of evidence that prove Blake Lively's claim, and that's what we saw today in this courtroom. We saw that evidence come to fruition and be talked about by the court. Blake Lively should be an example for all of our daughters to follow. She stood up for herself in the workplace, as we would hope that our daughters would do as well. The Baldoni Wayfarer parties acted absolutely inappropriate in this circumstance to both Blake and the other women on this set. They deserve justice and they deserve accountability. I'm happy to take any questions.
Do you think you're going to settle? Are you guys going to go to trial?
This case is really larger than just the claims at issue. It's really about women being able to to stand up for themselves in the workplace when they're feeling sexually harassed and exposed to a hostile work environment. So it is not a case that it is a situation where it can be easily resolved.
So there's a settlement conference tomorrow.
There's a mandatory settlement conference by the court, correct? And that's very common in all cases of federal court.
And then the next court date, February 11th, is that right?
I believe that's correct, and then the case is set for trial May 18th.
During the hearing, Baldoni's lawyers called the allegations small potatoes and trivial. What do you have to say to that?
Baldoni's lawyers calling the allegations small potatoes or trivial smacks of exactly how they behaved in this context. This shows that they did not take seriously the actions and how they were behaving in the workplace. And that's exactly why this case is so important. This case is about women feeling comfortable in the workplace and being able to perform their job without being retaliated against. As you heard in court today, when Blake Lively raised those concerns, what happened to her? They embarked on a massive digital retaliation campaign, in their own words, to quote, bury her. That's unacceptable. It's not allowed under our law, and that's what the laws are here to protect.
It actually is allowed under our law.
Included in the list of complaints that she initially made, and that she said, you weren't copying a look. Is that true, or is that not the case?
That's not what the evidence will show. The evidence will show, and there's multiple witnesses that were there, that he came into that trailer, and this is in the unsealed evidence that's available now, that he came into that trailer after she and other witnesses protested and tried to get him out of the trailer, and still continued to look at her when she was in a state of undress.
Will Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift give evidence in support of Miss Lively when this goes to trial?
The evidence at trial will be the witnesses that are on the witness list. Right now, they are not expected to be called. The case is really about Blake Lively's testimony about what happened to her, and she is ready to go to trial and ready to give that evidence.
How is she feeling about telling her story?
And is she upset that some of her friends, like Taylor Swift, are being drawn into this?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of that question.
Yeah, you did. Is she upset that people like Taylor Swift are being drawn into it and the effect it has on her relationship with her friends?
Certainly, Blake Lively has done everything she can to protect her friends from not being brought into this. It was the Baldoni parties who brought that evidence into this case. It's not relevant. What's relevant is her claims that she was sexually harassed in the workplace, and the witnesses that were there to see that.
So you're clarifying that Ms. Swift and Mr. Reynolds, as things stand, are not scheduled to give evidence. It's going to be, actors who were on the film and Ms. Lively. Is that right?
I mean, my understanding is that the witnesses, they're still deciding on which witnesses will be at trial, but really the key witness at this trial will be Blake Lively herself, talking about what happened to her in the workplace.
How is she feeling about going into telling her story, testifying? Is she nervous at all?
You can imagine that bringing a case like this is very difficult for anybody. She's been incredibly brave. She's stood up for herself and the other women on this set. She's done everything she could to protect them. And I think that that's part of litigation. It can be very difficult, particularly when you're being retaliated against by your former employees in such a disgraceful way, in such a destructive way, where they embarked on this massive campaign to literally do everything they could to create false narratives to destroy her reputation.
Can any of the cases like this settle? Is there much chance of that here, or do you see this going to trial?
And this case is really about so much more. It's really about women standing up for themselves in the workplace, and I think that that's why the claims are so important, and I think that's why we're going to see it going to trial. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time today.
How soon could it
go to trial in your case? It's scheduled for May 18th. Thank you.
My blood was boiling the first time I watched it. Like,
If it helps,
That's a crazy amount of lies.
I know. And that's why I was like, I have to ask you.
That's crazy. I don't even know what to say. I didn't watch the full thing. I just saw the little clips. My jaw is like on the floor. What?
Yeah.
if it helps.
I mean, a lot of that was their talking points. The we can bury anyone.
Yeah.
She's doing this for other women. She's standing up for other women. Like, some of that is like, I expect them to say. Some of it
Right.
is for shock value, but it's crazy to hear. Well, first of all, that woman thinks that she's helping survivors is
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I know.
From it.
Blake wanted to protect the women on that set. She would have actually filed reports and or quit and then went and told people what happened, about them. She couldn't care less. If she got good PR and her hair care brand and hair care line and alcohol brand would have taken off in August with It Ends With Us, and her and Ryan Reynolds would have had the best blockbuster summer, and everyone would have fell in love with Blake Lively, and no one cared that Justin Baldoni was missing, and her reputation would have succeeded, we would not be here today. That's not protecting women. That's not protecting girls. All she cares about is her reputation, and her and Ryan couldn't fathom organic backlash, because before they used to be able to own the media, and
Control it.
media used to control people, but now there's content creators, there's TikTok, and they don't know how to control it, and so they've never been held accountable for their actions before. She doesn't care about protecting other women. That's very clear, because she continued
Yeah.
letting them film on the set. If it was so dangerous for Blake,
Yeah.
then it would have been so dangerous for everyone else. And let's not forget that Emily Baldoni was also an actress on that set. You know what I mean? She was there too. So if it was so bad for Blake, then why did she let Isabella go back and shoot? Why did she let all these other women still be on the set? She couldn't care less. All she cares about is money
Yeah.
and her reputation. I'm shocked
I mean, just the
by that
blatant
lawyer.
lies, like the blatant lies about he talked openly about having unprotected sex and like
Yeah.
all, and he talked about his genitalia and then, like the I was like, what, what,
And
what?
openly talked about orgasms and
And the
consent.
comments were
Yeah.
great too of like everyone. Yeah, and the comments made a great point of like, hey, like this doesn't show a good look for her representing all the Epstein victims, and we know like obviously they went through something, and what they're talking about is
Right.
credible, but she's taking away the credibility by saying
Of
stuff like this
course.
about
But
Blake.
Yeah.
I guess my
Like that's
my back to my
like,
original question, like, and I say it in the most respectful way because I think you're great, Britt. Like I love watching your stuff, and I could never see you doing that, like getting up there and saying those blatant lies. And I feel like there's a lot of lawyers and attorneys who wouldn't. But when you were talking about like when you go under oath, there's people crying, and like when you become a lawyer, like all of that, and you're representing this country, and like I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know
Yeah.
what my question is. I guess my question is like, can she really just lie like that? Like,
Yes.
yeah,
okay,
Here's the thing. Here's the thing though, right? Like, yes, she can really just lie like that, and that's her reputation. That's how you want to spend your reputation. That's how you want to spend those good karma points. Great.
right,
Fine. 1-star review. Like, it just
yeah,
is like,
yeah,
it's astounding, but it's also there, it's even more frustrating because there are people who are gonna fall for it,
yes,
and that's what's troublesome, is that like these people really just do not care the harm they are doing, and they are doing it
yeah,
to the detriment of us all. Because I
yeah,
can tell you right now, there are men who are following this case who say that all women make false allegations. There are men who are following this case who will use this as an example. And this is a great example of a woman making up allegations.
yeah,
So it's like the harm that they're doing, like they're feeding the manosphere, and they're too stupid to recognize they're doing it. And I don't mean that to say that these people are necessarily like fully stupid, but they are so stuck in this like victimhood complex, this
yeah,
desire to win, this egotistical battle, that they have blinders on as to what the bigger repercussions are.
yeah.
And the fact that this lawyer signed on to this is infuriating.
It is.
Um,
Yeah.
Not actually Golden made a video where she was like, I guess my job now is to just refute everything this lawyer says,
Good.
which I was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
stand up. Like,
I
yeah.
know.
If it
I
helps,
watched the documentary, like, back in the day when she represented the Epstein victims, there was this whole documentary on Netflix about Epstein. There's two parts. There's one is on Ghislaine Maxwell and one is on Epstein. And she's in that documentary. And I watched it and I was like, oh my God, like, this is so amazing. She's so amazing. Like, literally, I watched it like 2 months ago or something, or a month and a half ago. When the Epstein files all started coming out, or the recent ones. And then, so I watched it. And then when I saw that it's her, and then I watched that. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one who recently watched that old documentary because of the recent Epstein file. So it's like, my mind was just like, it's
Yeah.
so disturbing. Like,
Exactly.
and
it's
you're
so
not
wrong.
wrong, and you're not wrong, Lynn, because in court, when the judge asked Blake Lively's attorneys that, in their view, what were the incidents that BL experienced in the time that she was an employee, in their view, they boiled it down to 4 incidents. And
Okay.
I think one of them is the only one that she mentioned. The other 3 she did not include. He was 1 when she was physically kissed and nuzzled without consent.
Yeah.
2 when he wrote self-gratuitous nudity into the script, right? And 3 when she was stared at nude by Jamie Heath. And 4 when the intimate birth scene. So those are the only 4 points that they signal to the judge, like these are what happened when she was an employee in their view, and that's what it boils down to. That's why we're here, those 4 incidents.
And let's all just keep in mind, she testified in her deposition that she understood that Jamie was not trying to cop a look. And she, like, I can't remember the exact language, but she does not seem very bothered by that beyond a black man tried to look her in the eyes.
And
He tried to look at her.
that.
Like, they're trying to turn it into he tried to look at her naked body, but she was mad that he looked her in the eyes.
Yeah,
And she said, "Come in."
and Bach pointed that out, that no reasonable jury would find that to be offensive or discriminatory behavior, especially since, in Blake Lively's own words, she understood that it was not intentional and it was not meant to make her feel uncomfortable. And because she said he's not trying to cop a look.
Right.
At the end of the day,
Yeah, she kind of ate her words on that one.
the movie's not even too sexy, you know what I'm saying? There's not even that many, there's not barely any kissing. I read the entire original script that she signed on to, and it was a lot more sex in there than what we got in the edit. So I don't know, maybe she edited around that because she didn't want to make Ryan pissed off or something. But we're not talking about Die My Love. We're not talking about Baby Girl. We're not talking about movies, right? Like, I just saw Dracula last night, and there's way more into, like, kissing.
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Oh, it's real good. It's real good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I watched this movie, It Ends With Us, and I'm like, how did Blake get us here to be this intense sexual harassment? I've done more sex scenes, rape scenes, kissing scenes. I've been killed. I've killed. I've sexually assaulted in movies, guys. In movies, yeah. And it's like, it's professional acting. Like, when you're on set, there's a level of trust that you have to have with the other actor, and you only get that by experience. So when I watched the movie, like, it's the most PG movie. Like,
Thank you.
there's
Yes.
any scenes together. So I'm like, you're never gonna, no one's gonna trust you to hold a script again if this is how you act. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I just, she's ruined. Even last time I was watching a movie and I was watching the actors, like, they're in this big love scene or whatever. I was like, I wonder how bad they choreographed. Like, I wonder if there was an interview. I wonder, you know, and I always think that now because I'm like, even Die My Love with Jennifer Lawrence, I can't believe she didn't get nominated. Her, like, the movie, man, her performance is so beautiful. She's like naked, free, animalistic, doing all this stuff, no intimacy coordinator. And it's like, you just have to do it because you love the art, like, you love the craft of storytelling. And I think Blake likes being famous, but Blake does not understand acting.
Yeah.
You know, because this is the most
Sounds about
PG
right.
movie ever. So to even be here for sexual harassment, I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
And that's what drives me
Sorry.
crazy about Jenny Slate, because I'm like, her entire career is about raunchy content. So for her to be offended by Justin saying those pants look sexy, you just didn't like the man and you wanted to, like, cut his throat. That was it. It wasn't you were offended by the comment. And that's why she
And she didn't
immediately in her
even
deposition
remember
was
that
like,
some.
"This isn't-" Yeah.
Right. She
Go
was
ahead.
so unbothered, but she was like, well, Blake wanted me to turn him in, so I did. How is that fighting for somebody else?
It's not.
Yeah, and it's like she's not fighting for anyone because when she saw like DV victims were literally the ones that were like, "Hey, we don't like how you answered this question."
Yeah.
Instead of her being like, just put out a statement saying, "Hey, I was just under a lot of pressure. There was a lot of people. I was flustered. That's why it happened," and apologize. No, she made it this entire lawsuit, and it's a whole smear campaign. And it's like, okay, well, now you're like taking the voice away from all of these actual victims that were
Yeah.
just trying to help you and tell you, hey, this is offensive. And instead, you're like, no, you're a bot. Or no, you're paid to say that. And
Yeah.
that's not what happened.
I have to
and
hop
there
off
are
here in a couple
Yeah.
minutes.
yeah,
Is
same.
that
There are creative
Oh, yeah, I gotta hop
conversations
off too.
that happen, you know, when
okay?
you're making movies, like there's a lot of dark creative conversations that happen. And I've had conversations about very bad things. Like if people saw our chats or saw our Pinterest boards or saw our mood boards, they would be like, do we have to call the FBI? You know, but we're in that realm of horror or thriller or whatever it is. So it's like to not even have those conversations at all is just a disservice to the craft in general of trying to really imitate life, which is what acting is to imitate life, you know.
Wait, can I
Yeah.
bring up one
Oh, yeah.
comment from a commenter in a comment section trying to argue with me? They wouldn't make a movie about murder and make the employees, the actors, watch that kind of footage, and I'm like, well, somebody does. Somebody on that film
Yeah.
set has to, because they gotta make
Yeah.
it come to life. How do you think we end up seeing some,
Especially somebody
movie?
who says that's how she learns how to act.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the writers, the producers,
I mean,
probably set deck,
just
everyone.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like even like the actress from Wednesday. She literally said she did all the different training, took violin lessons so that way she could play and make it look more realistic when she was actually playing. Like, did she
Right.
have to do that? No, but it made her acting a million times better. And so many actors and actresses do that. And like for her to not even talk to survivors when she's doing a video or in like a film that's about the entire like encompassing your entire experience of DV just like completely is a disservice to the movie, to victims, and to herself. And I don't know why Justin didn't push for that more, or maybe he did and he's just not showing that part because
I
he's
think
trying to
by
like
the
be
end he
nice.
just was like, fuck it, take the
Yeah,
movie. I whatever. Let's just get through
yeah.
this premiere and then we can be done with each other forever. Little did
I
he
mean, if you
know
watch
that they don't let things die.
if you watch interviews
Yeah,
of him promoting the movie, he totally talks about it during that time. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because it's like he gets to talk about it and he gets to talk like he actually went through and did that, like speaking with victims. But did the other actors do that? Like, I feel like they
And
should have.
the way Justin speaks about the movie and the marketing, you know, I know on Blake's side, they want to say that he went against the marketing. But if you look at Sony's
Yeah.
actual marketing plan that they just dropped, Justin follows that perfectly. He does keep it light, but he does talk about the importance and the impact of DV. You know, sorry he's not washing and blow drying people's hair, but he does follow the marketing plan still. It's just Blake Lively really wanted to commercialize the film like Barbie, right? She even says at the beginning, like, this has to be bigger. I want it commercialized. I want this, which it wasn't supposed to be. And I think she implanted in people's heads, like, it's bigger than what Justin can do. Like, I can do it for you.
Yeah.
And it's just, well, obviously didn't work. Or it made money, you
And
know.
there's not the
Yeah.
alcohol brand. I think that was just straight tone deaf. But there is a way to be like,
Oh, yeah.
I talked to survivors, and one of the things they said felt the best was that first haircut after they left somebody. So, in honor of that, you make shit up.
yeah.
But, like, there's a
Yeah.
way to tie it back to DV that's lighthearted. You can still market your brand. Like, it's not that hard to just make it loosely about the subject of the movie, and then people don't feel betrayed in the way you're going about this.
But she's done it
Right.
That would
before,
require
guys,
So,
some
like with the
intelligence.
town. Like with the town, do you remember? Like, didn't she go out like she said like in one interview for A Simple Favor, she was with Anna Kendrick, and she said that she went around town and like interviewing like victims of SA before to get into the headspace. Whenever she was like in one of the movies, I think it was for the town or something like that. And so she's done this before. This is not her first rodeo. You know, like she actually, and then she's also in a documentary about something about having to do with SA. I kid you not. It has to do it like Jennifer Gardner is in it, and like I gotta find it. I'll send it to you guys or something. But this she has experience talking about this kind of situation, so it doesn't make sense whatsoever that all of a sudden she's like, should I share my location? You know, like what the heck, you know?
Yeah. She could have said it in such a nicer way of like even just saying like I don't like I appreciate you sharing your stories with me, but I really think the best thing that you can do is seek help from a professional and
I'm
just
not
give
the
some
person to
resource,
come
maybe
to
even
for
have
this.
better help and sponsor. Yeah.
Totally.
And like do a little sponsorship with BetterHelp or something. Like,
Here's some
yeah, but
resources
not.
and talk to your HR about sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Ryan and Blake together, right? Are like pretty, in my opinion, allegedly, narcissists, right? Like pretty egotistical. They're, they
Oh
sit
yeah.
in a very high throne of life. And even in Ryan Reynolds' text, he said, "Oh, Blake Lively rewatched the interviews, and actually, she did pretty okay. And I don't know why everyone's saying that she was a mean girl in it. And Blake had in her head that she said the wrong things, but when you rewatch it, she did totally fine. It was Melissa Nathan who sent that little clip to everyone, and it's like, no, man, you guys weren't okay. Like, it wasn't little clips that we were watching. It literally, you guys were not doing it right. It's okay to say, hey, we messed up. We didn't understand the seriousness of it. We're going to do some research. We didn't understand that 1 in 3 women experience violence by a man. We're so sorry. Let us go do some research. They could have donated a bunch of money, left for 6 months, and came back with their own film or a documentary or a book or something,
Yeah.
and everything would have been forgiven. But they couldn't even
Yeah.
acknowledge once that Ryan and Blake messed up. It was always somebody else, somebody else.
And Ryan
Yeah.
to this day has not come out and said anything about her being SA'd or
Nothing.
SH, right?
Not one thing.
Not one thing, right?
Not made any statement. He didn't even post about her on her birthday for like the first time in like 10 years.
Well, yeah.
Which he always makes
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
of her. So I guess he couldn't make fun of her this
Yeah.
year, so he just didn't do anything.
No,
Which
wasn't
is,
funny enough. No.
Yeah.
but the only
Well, and I
statement
think it's funny
he
that like
made was that what was it? SNL 50 when he stood up and made that
SNL, yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Why? What's
Yeah.
going on?
yeah,
Yeah.
because he's
The look on her face
Yeah,
is
exactly.
classic.
Yeah.
Where she's like,
The look on Kevin Costner's face was classic too.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
Oh,
In the
yeah, it is.
background,
It's
the
great.
zoom in, it was so good.
Okay,
But,
guys,
like,
I
love,
remember.
like Ryan's so
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey,
admitted like
I'm gonna
anything
have
of
to
like
jump
how his
off.
marketing was.
Yeah,
I
guys.
have to
yeah, we
jump
can
off
go
as
ahead.
well.
Okay, bye
I
guys.
Thank you
gotta go
so
to
much.
My
And-
kids are
and-
coming in.
Thank you guys all so much. I
Okay.
appreciate you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Be sure to
Thanks,
follow
Ken.
everyone. Thank you guys.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.